I'm Shane.
And I'm Bo.
We are your Kentucky Fried Critics.
Welcome back. 46?
46. 46. I'm telling you, we do. We just need a poster
with it and just count down.
Yeah.
And tear it off each episode.
Yeah, let's go to Kinko's or wherever you can do that
just
now.
Print up a bunch of them.
Hey, can you print us off a rip-off calendar? We're getting closer to 50, the big one.
The big one.
At this point, again, you guys already figured this out. We've been really, and we're not going to try to talk about what episode was before or not, because we get lost in the whatever.
The backstage bullshit. We can't keep track of
But you
our
guys
own
can
schedule.
obviously tell at this point that we are definitely recording these before when they're releasing by a good point now. And we're trying to get that even further back. And you do know we are also getting ready for this contest. We have released the first poll
the
to
vote.
see
What movie we should be talking about on our 50th anniversary
So you are
special episode.
So
put all that together somehow.
At this point, though, you're going to be hearing whatever we're about to say to you well after it's already been enacted.
Yeah.
So do apologize about that, but that's just where we're at.
Thanks for everybody for voting.
So yeah, we're probably going to go ahead and put these up for a second round. We're thinking we're just going to drop the lowest one.
Yeah, the bottom one,
which is Ace Ventura.
Nobody voted for that one.
Yeah, so we're probably going to drop that one and maybe replace it with a fan one and put them all up again. And maybe not.
Yeah, the fan suggestion one. That's a good idea.
Maybe
we got
not.
a couple of those.
We'll see exactly what's going to happen, but it's probably going to be something like that. You know, we've got time before we're actually there, before we have to record that one.
Yeah, we got a few more episodes.
We might, there's no reason not to go ahead and get even more feedback from people, or try to really hone in the feedback we're getting to really find out what people want to hear. Let's go ahead and get the socials taken care of. You guys know how this works. We'll do the first 3 are just the meta apps, the easy ones. That's going to
biggest ones, right?
They're definitely for our age group, it's definitely the most used as well. You know what I mean? Like most newer social media apps are probably going to be
younger kids
focused, and it's just a nature of the beast. Like those are the ones that were big as we were coming up in it. So it's just like what our head sees is what we should
make
use.
Me feel old.
I said we. I didn't say you. I could have been that way. I mean, you're younger than me, but I'm definitely more tech savvy, so I still could have tried. I still could have tried.
You get to feel younger than me because I feel like a 90-year-old man when I look at a computer.
Yeah, at least when we talk about the tech part, for sure.
Do I click the button?
Before we forget, that's going to be Kentucky Fried Critics, all lowercase, no spacing, no hyphens, no anything special. You know the drill. Those are for the meta apps, like I said, Facebook, Instagram, Threads. I have posted once or twice
on
Threads.
Really? Nice.
But this is not like recently. This is just since the last time I told you. So
since
how many episodes has it been since I gave you an update on that? It's been a while.
Like 4. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not saying I've done a lot, but
we're there though.
In the time since the last time I told you, I've posted maybe twice.
You posted just enough to make yourself not a liar.
Yeah, I'm making sure I say things for sure.
Staying honest. That's all I'm doing.
Again, I don't know. I'm trying to get better. That's the best I can say about it, I think.
I routinely forget about it, so it's fine. Don't worry about it.
From there, we'll go ahead and cover YouTube. That's where you're possibly watching us from. We don't have a video there yet. We're still trying to work on that.
It's all still just
doing
audio.
More and more, though.
Yeah, we're working.
Well, it's not just audio now. I've got pictures.
Yeah, we've got pictures,
and animated GIFs,
animated little things dancing and stuff.
And I make them different for every episode.
We're trying really hard here for not having video.
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure that if you do decide to watch us on YouTube, even if you're not looking at the screen, it's at least still a little bit better for you the couple of times you glance at it, right?
Yeah. Like I've been told we are great for cleaning houses. And doing
I've
dishes.
had a few. Yeah, I was about to say doing dishes. I've had a few friends tell me that they listen when they do dishes.
That's what everybody tells me too. They're like, "Oh no, I gotta go clean and stuff."
I got a lot of podcasts. I understand. I get it.
Yeah, I do it all the time.
Again, before much like the last one, man, I almost forgot to say it. YouTube, if you want to find us there, it's our favorite one.
Yeah, it's our favorite one.
It's
home of the Riddick Rat.
That's right, our glorious mascot who has now replaced everything. I don't think we have a bucket left anywhere. Not saying we're not abandoning Commander Pop Culture by any means.
He has administrative duties to tend to. He's moved over command to Riddick Rat.
Just making the point that for right now, Riddick Rat has taken over.
Because it's fan made.
Yes, I love that. It's great. You're going to find us at YouTube at youtube.com/@KFCRiddicks.
Nice.
Go ahead and move
Give
off
us a
of
like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Share it to people.
Share it.
You know, those social words.
Just go online and crow. Kentucky Fried Critics is great.
All right, that's definitely enough on that one. We went all over.
We have rambled a bunch.
From there, we usually tell you guys the website. You know, that's the hub where you can find all of this information that we just gave you, the information we're about to give you, and more. And as I've already mentioned,
information.
That's
past,
right.
Present, future.
Anything you need to know. As I've already said, that's from Acast, the wonderful people that host our podcast for us.
Thanks, guys.
Shows.acast.com/Kentucky-Fried-Critics. He's bringing the dance back, guys. He's bringing the dance back.
Just a little shoulder shimmy. You got to give me something.
As long as you're not getting lost in it, as long as the cult hasn't come back.
The people in the van was the limit, all right? Like, they came out of fucking nowhere. I realized at that point I had gone too far.
Then I'm okay. As long as
I barely got away.
As long as the cult is gone, we're good, dude.
I called the FBI. They've been taken care of.
Dance your little heart away if it's what keeps you from having the cult thoughts, okay?
I'm reformed now. It's fine.
All right. Our last one then is going to be the email.
The one we kind of seem to forget about.
Yeah, the one that we always mention but then forget to say what it is. Which is why I'm going to stop right now. Say it, and then we can do whatever we want. KentuckyFriedCritics@gmail.com. Now we can say whatever we want. Yeah. Now we can goof off and be silly with it. That's our suggestion box. That's right. If you want to,
movies, beer, TV shows, just stuff you might want us to talk about or drink.
Like we've already said, we are looking for fan suggestions, maybe for this 50th episode. Now that we've already gone one round, by the time you're hearing this, it may not matter anymore.
It might not matter. But might have around 2 or 3. We don't know.
We don't know, depending on what happens. So it is definitely a place for you to maybe send your direct suggestion to us if you've got no other way. So just, these are the kinds of things.
We do have future episodes coming up.
Yeah.
You might have a good idea.
Well, and let us know, because again, the whole idea of us doing this is to try to get an idea of the kinds of movies you guys want us to do. Yeah, we've had a year now of just saying, well, we don't fucking care. This is our podcast, and we're gonna
watch whatever the fuck we want, right?
And we're gonna talk about that. Now I'm not trying to say we're gonna completely change that opinion, but we definitely want to hear some input and maybe make our choice off the input.
Give our fans their 10%,
right? Like, you guys come up with them, and then we'll decide from what you said the ones we still like.
People to suggest me shit that neither one of us have seen.
Well, no, that's still good too.
Right? That'd be awesome.
But the only way that works is for them just to suggest everything, because it's not like they know what we've seen, so we can't just be waiting for them to try to think of super off the wall. They just have to start pitching. Plus, you know me.
You've seen all kinds of
for them to throw things
shit
at me that I've not seen is. So actually, I guess maybe that's the challenge.
Yeah, there you go. Stump the master.
If you guys think you know a movie that I've not seen, maybe just throw that out there. That's still not a guarantee it's going to be one that we do, but it's going to be higher up on the list.
He's hard. I'm probably pretty easy. He does it every time we talk. He's like, "You seen this movie?" Like, no.
So far, we're almost at 50, right?
Yeah.
And of the 50, we've done one movie, I think. No, two movies that I had never seen. Dead Snow 2 and Thanksgiving. Those are the only 2 movies out of 50.
And those are relatively new movies, considering.
Dead Snow 2 was newer. I think Thanksgiving was in the 90s. But it was just, it's also super cheap.
Yeah.
Super cheap.
Go back and watch it. It's a good episode.
Oh, great episode. I love the movie. Again, both of those are great. Those are now in my rotation of movies.
Oh yeah, dude, those are definitely Halloween favorites now.
Yeah. So I mean, they're great, but I'm just making the point that I have seen
a bunch of shit.
It's really hard to find the ones that I've not seen.
You've seen so much shit. You make me feel how I'm sure my friends feel when I start talking about movies, and they're like, "I've not seen that" and stuff, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" So. Yeah. You're their revenge, I guess. Make me feel dumb.
So yeah, maybe guys, again, like let's have fun with this. Maybe I'll make the social media post about like let's see if people can stump Shane. Like,
stump Shane. Find a movie this guy hasn't fucking seen.
It's not actually that hard. Like, but you are probably
It's gonna be harder than you fucking think.
You're probably
I
pitching.
guarantee it.
You're probably pitching to me some pretty independent movies, and that's not even to say you're gonna win by doing that. I used to have a big chunk of time where I watched a lot of independent movies too. All right, so that's definitely all of the socials. That wraps that up for us. So we can get into first things first, the beer, and then I'll make an apology, and then we'll do the movie.
Okay, I will describe the beer. You apologize, then we'll get into the movie.
That sounds good.
All right. We are doing Abita's Alpha Gator Imperial IPA.
All right, now the apology. We understand this is a gator.
Yeah, Alpha Gator.
We did indeed choose a movie that is about a crocodile.
Okay, we didn't know that.
We are.
That's a small detail I doubt anybody remembers.
Well, we are Kentucky boys.
Yeah, we don't.
And to us, they're the same animal.
Yeah,
right. I would say to 80% of the United States.
Yeah, unless you're from like Florida or something.
Right. And if it's 80% of the United States, then it's like 95% of the world that doesn't really know the difference. And if you feel the need to tell me.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, by all means, we definitely messed this up.
The immediate connection, though, as soon as we saw it.
But as soon as here's the thing.
It's even got the guy.
There are less movies about gators unless you're getting really, again, like we were already saying about the really independent, and we're not talking like this is we're not the good independent. This is like leaning towards the really
there's the
cheap
Burt Reynolds movie, but I don't think that has a thing to do about gators.
I don't know if Alpha would have got us there either.
I don't either.
But yeah, there were choices we could have went with for that. But so we went Lake Placid. Lake Placid is about a giant crocodile, not a giant alligator. But here's the thing: talking about Lake Placid lets us talk about Betty White,
right? America's grandma.
Talking about Lake Placid lets us talk about Oliver Platt. Doing what Oliver Platt does best, which
America's funny drunk uncle,
right? Rich
drunk uncle,
rich
funny drunk uncle.
Yeah.
We do need to actually start the movie now.
We need to, you know what it is, you know what we were saying. We'll do our little roundup of actors. I know I'm the one that keeps pointing out we're not usually director people, and then I immediately start talking about a director. But this guy has connections to some of my favorite things.
He's done a lot of them.
This is Steve Miner. He is the director of Friday the 13th, Part 2 and 3. I am a huge that franchise is my favorite franchise of all time, of any genre, of anything. I love that movie franchise.
Third one's where he gets the mask, right?
Yeah, third one he gets the mask.
Yeah, see,
so the second one he wears the potato sack.
The potato sack with just the one
burlap sack with an eye. Yeah. No, he's did some good movies.
The first one's not even him.
Yeah, and then House, he did the horror movie House, which is another franchise, but he didn't do any of the others. But he kicked that one off. He was the director for the first one. He also did Warlock.
I like that one.
He's got two notable ones for his horror related, because even this is horror related. I would say tangentially. So I mean, it is, but it's not. The gore is what's going to get most people to say put it in horror, right?
People die, that makes it horror.
Yeah,
right?
but I would say it's really not.
Yeah.
But so his two that are not are still questionable in different ways. Like horror movies are questionable for a lot of fans because not everybody is open to that genre, right?
Yeah.
He also did the movie Soul Man. Do you know this movie from the 80s?
Is that the one where he's blackface?
Where the dude is in blackface for the entire movie? C. Thomas Howell is in blackface.
It's not a good look now, is it?
No, he's the director of that one. Well, the last movie I'll mention of Steve Miner's is Forever Young, because it's Mel Gibson. It's not time travel, but not time. It's like time travel the long way. Cryogenic.
Oh wait, doesn't he steal like a B-17 at the end of the fucking movie? I have seen this fucking movie.
Okay, that's why I was mentioning. I was like, man, there's no way.
Sorry,
I was like
earlier before we started recording, it was like a 10-minute conversation on how I hadn't seen this movie.
Like I was just thinking, I was like, I know your mom and I know your sister, and I feel like there's no way that they didn't have a mid-90s Mel Gibson movie playing in your house.
Okay, that just popped in my head. I was like, oh yeah, he steals like the B-17
because
bomber
he was a pilot from back then. then, and he knew how to do it. Yeah.
And the kid goes with him.
Yes, Elijah Wood.
Elijah Wood. Just okay.
All right, I'm glad we're at least there. But yeah, so you just forgot that the beginning part was cryogenics.
It was cryogenic shit, but I remember him stealing the
because you were a kid. And
the plane part's the cool part.
Yeah, because
all the soldiers and shit are like trying to stop him and shit.
When you're under the age of 10 and like cryogenics is a word that you're like, what the fuck?
I don't know what that means. That's a big word.
Yeah, once you get into sci-fi stuff though, then all of a sudden you're like. Your entertainment
more
shifts,
focused on that,
right?
Part.
You're like, no, the beginning is the good part of that movie.
Yeah.
The ending is stupid. Yeah, I bet you will leave. I will
enjoy it a lot more now.
You will flip your opinion now.
Now that I remember, I have actually seen it. Go Steve Miner. I like that.
Yeah,
I remember that shit and liked it.
Now you understand exactly why I felt the need to. Again, like normally we aren't really director people, but those like he's directed things, and the horror ones give us again a precedence for why he is directing this one, right? Like obviously there are, even though I wouldn't necessarily say this is horror, and I'm sure there are tons of you out there that would argue with me about saying that.
Tense.
I just don't feel that way.
It's a tense movie.
It's suspense, but there's lots of comedy in this movie. This is like way beyond a normal horror movie.
This is like Jaws, but we're not taking it seriously.
Or even from the same ish time era, Anaconda. Right? Does this not feel like it's like this? Just feels like a weird like pseudo sequel.
Oliver Platt's character is kind of like Tim Curry in that movie.
Is like
so it's exactly the same.
It is like a pseudo sequel ish.
Congo
vibe,
with the monkeys and shit.
All of these came out with the same kind of vibe to them. For sure.
They totally did. Isn't there a movie like the Lake Placid versus Anaconda?
Yes, there is.
Awesome.
There is.
I'm gonna have to watch that now.
So that's the director. I think we're good there. We can definitely move on. So real quick, we'll hit the actors. We're not hitting everybody. It's a small cast to start with. I'm just gonna tell you
list it.
Who they are and who they play, so that way once we start hitting character names, you know who we're talking about.
I'm going to sit here silently.
Right. So we got Bridget Fonda playing Kelly Scott. She is our paleontologist, despite the fact that other than the beginning when they say that, everything else about her makes her feel like she is doing modern day reptilian research.
She suddenly became a crocodile expert like halfway through the movie.
Well, that's still fine, right? Crocodiles and alligators, ancient animals.
Yeah, I guess.
But my problem is that they just treat her after a certain point like she only knows about modern things. And I'm like, why did we set her up to be a paleontologist?
She's a crocotologist.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's just so that way it made sense why the giant tooth would be the thing that makes her go. Yeah, I think. The next one is Jack Wells, played by Bill Pullman. As we said, weird character. We'll talk more about this towards the end. Weird choice for the character, even.
He wasn't doing anything that summer.
Oliver Platt playing Hector Sear. He is
our
definitely.
Best character in the movie.
He's our millionaire, eccentric genius.
Mythology
professor.
Professor. He studies myths and legends.
Yeah, strangely enough.
With a focus on crocodile worship.
And then a younger Brendan Gleeson than you're probably used to seeing, because he's done mainly a lot of things in his older
Mad Eye Moody. In Bruges, it's got Colin Farrell in it and shit. I love that fucking movie.
So this is really this is 99, so this is like 99. Yeah,
I think so.
This is relatively for him.
This is before he did Harry Potter.
Yeah, for him, this is like a young. He looks.
He's all baby face and
for
stuff,
him,
right?
For him,
yeah. I'm sure he's done shit before it, but I can't think of it.
Yeah, no, for me, this is definitely one of the first times I've seen.
Gangs in New York, was that like 98?
I don't know.
He's the guy.
It might have been 2000.
Was it?
Yeah, it might have been the opposite way. I'm not sure.
I like that movie.
Let's get back on track. We keep saying
this.
I know.
My fault.
I do too. It's not just you. I'll say stuff.
This is the problem with being like movie dudes. Like,
it's hard.
That guy. This movie.
Betty White, of course. Playing the best version of a Betty White character ever, because she gets to be
both of them.
Yeah, she gets to be the Golden
Sweet
Girls,
grandma,
dumb, airheaded old lady that you think of, and then she also
foul-mouthed fucking sailor.
She also gets to be who she is in real life, which was a foul-mouthed sailor who told dirty stand-up.
Yep, that's great.
Which is beautiful.
She has the best lines in this fucking movie.
Some of the
not
best
enough
ones.
of her. We needed more of her.
After her, though, there's nobody really. I'm trying to make sure I say this the right way. There are no other characters who are big. There is definitely at least one other big actress playing the smallest of parts.
It's the deputy chick, isn't it?
It's the SVU.
Yeah.
Mariska Hargitay.
Oh, that's where I've fucking seen her before. The whole time I'm like, I know you.
No, she's not the deputy. This Mariska Hargitay. Sorry, I just realized what you were saying.
Oh.
I thought you were saying where she's from because she's from SVU. No, Mariska Hargitay is the girl that her boss cheated on.
Oh,
her
that
with.
chick in the beginning?
That is the SVU chick.
I didn't recognize her. Who's the deputy chick? I have seen that bitch in something.
But no,
else.
the chick who has definitely been on 25 years of television now was the one who was in 5 minutes of screen time.
It's like a 30-second scene, right?
That's what I was getting at.
Right.
Like, so again, like the other girl,
I was thinking of the wrong chick.
Meredith Salinger is the deputy.
The cute deputy.
Yeah, but again, like she's in things. She's in Dream a Little Dream with the two Coreys. She's the main girl, Lainey. She's like one of those guys. She's one of those girls, right? Like, so she is not someone who's been in big parts of things, but you're going to see her and be like, I know her because she's just got a memorable feature.
She's got that face.
Yeah.
I know your face. We'll put her on the t-shirt.
Yeah.
We'll cut out her silhouette.
But so on that note, though, we can just get into the movie because, like we said, that's a small, tight cast. That's all there is. That's important. I mean, that's it. You know me. We gotta start with the intro music. What is this, dude? This was like
creepy,
serene but creepy, but
creepy, peaceful.
But
peaceful creep.
Mysteriously treacherous. That's what I've got.
That's good. I like that. Mysteriously treacherous.
Like my notes, it literally says intro music is both serene and mysteriously treacherous.
Like, I feel at ease, but for some reason I think something bad's about to happen.
That's totally the vibe I got, which I guess is great. I mean, that's what they want.
Yeah, that's what you want because it's supposed to be a horror movie.
Ish. Right?
It's always in the horror category.
Yeah, there's definitely dead bodies.
People die in horrible fashion. There's a monster. It technically it's kind of a monster.
Yeah,
it's an unusually large crocodile.
Is it really though? They even
by like 3 feet, like
2 to 3.
Yeah,
they mentioned in this movie several times 27 and 28 foot long.
Right, those are the biggest ones ever.
And this one is 30.
So
and they're like, they all instantly are like, "Whoa, 30? Back the fuck up.
That's too big. There's nothing we can do about something that big. It's 2 extra feet."
I'm glad that you picked up on that because I kept being like, is 2 feet in this? Like, and again, maybe we're wrong. Maybe in the world of like crocodiles and gators, like at that size, 2 feet really makes a big difference. Like, I don't, but to me,
2 feet, it's like 100 pounds per foot, maybe.
Like, you'd have to tell me they're just it's got to be an exponential factor thing here where it's like crazy once you add those extra 2 feet because. If you just tell me that we normally have that they found in nature a 27-foot one, but now this 30-foot one, and you're gonna act like the world is gonna end because we found this 30-foot one.
Like we have to get rid of it, or the whole world is in danger.
It threatens all existence.
This is the new apex predator.
Right.
It's gonna turn into Godzilla and start rampaging through cities.
Those 3 feet are making the difference in the next step of evolution on this planet.
Right. It no longer needs to be in water. It just goes full land. Roving hordes of 30-foot fucking crocodiles.
We need to get into this. But I agree. That is definitely the way they talk about it.
That's funny.
But yeah, so the music definitely sets up for us that something is going on.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of nice shots of like the lake and like underwater and shit.
Like we
are the crocodile.
I guess
right?
I don't really know
what we're supposed to get through this.
I don't know what the opening vibe was supposed to be actually. But yeah, we do.
I liked this because
it was fun.
I used to do this. Did you ever dive to the bottom of the lake with goggles on?
Yeah, at some point.
Yeah, you see cool shit down there. Like you should carefully try this.
Well, depending on where you're at too. Like again, that's definitely another thing that's worth pointing out. Like this movie, while we don't live in Maine, we definitely live in a place that is surrounded by trees and lake.
Yep, trees and lake. We understand.
So we understand the vibe of the movie, right? Like and like being on the water and
all that shit.
The only difference being our lake is definitely not salt water, right?
No.
They mentioned that this one connects to the ocean.
Yeah, it connects to the ocean. So would it be a saltwater lake? Or would it be a freshwater lake running into the ocean?
I don't know which way, but it would definitely have some salinity to it. Because they specifically, we'll get there when we get there. Yeah, so the opening definitely gives us this whole like, what is going on in the water vibe, right? Like what lies beneath the surface type of vibe, right? once we finish with our little interlude of water skipping or whatever you want to call this, we see a diver come up with a beaver in hand.
Yeah, they're tagging beavers.
I know, it was so random.
It's like, okay,
like we're just like we get this creepy music, creepy vibe to start off with, and the first thing we see is a diver holding a beaver, and I was like, okay, that. I understand that they're wanting to surprise us with whatever we're really going to get into, but after the slightly treacherous music,
right,
the beaver was almost laughable.
But no, this is our intro to Brendan Gleeson, Sheriff Hank. I'm calling him Hank. I can't pronounce that last fucking name.
I didn't even bother, dude.
Right,
Hank.
It's some weird Welsh fucking.
For the
last
beginning
name.
of my notes, it was just Sheriff. I didn't even have Hank until like halfway through the movie.
Because the first time I hear it is like
they
later
play
in the
him
fucking
off
movie.
in the beginning, like you're not going to see that much of him.
Right?
Tell me this character. He just seems like a dumb guy who's doing the cold open with this diver.
Yep, he's just on the boat. He's eating Twinkies.
Hell, if you were to ask me
goes
which
off
person
to do his
was
job.
like when the movie first starts, if you were to ask me
This
which
was
character,
gonna be just a cameo, right?
Well, and if you were to ask me which character would survive the movie, I would have told you the diver was making it out of the water. You know what I mean? Like when you first see the open,
like in Jaws, where he goes, he's underwater.
When you first see this open, you're just like, the sheriff is a dumbass.
Right?
He's sitting there blasting music.
He's got his music, his Twinkies. Like this doof is fucking gonna go
right. But the diver
right?
is following rules. He's mentioning off things that you should do, and so like again, like opening of the movie, I never would have assumed that we were supposed to be focusing on the sheriff here. I would have assumed the diver is the guy that's important.
Right.
No, he's not.
No, he's
we can deal with this quick. He's gone.
He's dead. He pops up,
tags that first beaver,
right?
And he goes underwater, finds the entrance.
Lair? The beaver den? Beaver den?
Yeah, it's it's inside the dam. They make their dams usually with a...
Yeah, because they got to go down and up.
Come on now, if you're our age, I know you
Angry
watched
Beavers.
Thank you. You knew where I was going. So you know what we're saying. You know where they lived.
Love that fucking show.
They lived inside.
You gotta go down and underneath, and they have the little pool.
But so he sees one of those.
Yeah.
He thinks he's finding a beaver. No beaver. Goddamn, this turtle scared the piss out of me twice.
It is. It's a little turtle because he's like...
Well, the first time he sees just the little thing, and you're like, oh, that's not a big deal. But then it darts out of that fucking...
Right, just
beaver
jumps out of the
thing.
fucking hole, and
I was like, "Holy
shit!" out of him.
I was like, "What is that?" And so, as soon as that happens, so for a second, you're like, "Oh, okay, everything's all right."
That's fine.
There was nothing actually in the water, because that's how scary movies sometimes do.
Yeah,
right?
It's
like, they make you think
the false jump scare.
Yeah, they make you think the bad guy's here, but he's not even. It's not even time for the first kill yet.
That's 10 minutes from now, right?
Nope.
Fuck that. No, he gets grabbed
as soon as
yanked out of the beaver dam thing.
As soon as you thought he was safe, as soon as the turtle is out of sight and he's calming down,
right?
Done. He's donezo.
He yanked, and then it goes to the dude on the Hank.
Goes to Hank
on the boat,
proving my point about
another Twinkie.
How little I thought Hank was actually going to be important to the movie, right? Like because the diver comes up the first time and Hank doesn't even know, right?
Nope,
like he flips, he doesn't hear the splashing of the water.
He's literally looking in a different direction.
It's not until the second time up where the diver actually screams. And then Hank's like, huh? And he is so slow to react to
He does.
that.
He literally does a huh. Like,
And he's
what's
like,
that?
oh, goodness.
Oh, no, there's somebody over there.
Me, oh, my.
Then the crocodile actually helps out here a little bit. He grabs hold of the diver and drags him towards the boat, luckily, right?
Makes his work a little easier.
It does. Totally helps out. Just pulls him toward the boat, and Hank's pulling him in the boat and stuff, and he's yanking and pulls up half a dude.
Half a body.
Like, literally half a dude. Guts hanging and stuff. And he tries to say something. Did he actually get anything out? I don't think he did, but he just kind of dies.
Dies right there.
Hank handles this like a champ. Blank face. Just stone. I would have been flipping the fuck out.
Well, and the last thing I want to point out before we move away from this is all of it masterfully done to David Cassidy.
Yeah, because the radio is still playing in the background.
The whole time.
The whole fucking time.
He'd be underwater, you wouldn't hear the music. They'd come up top, and it's you'd hear it. Sweet David Cassidy. Loved it.
Kind of makes it a little creepier, too.
It does. I love it.
With the like 60s pop music and shit going on in the background.
It was so good. But yeah, so that was our first victim that we see.
That's the cold open right there. It's like, oh shit, there's something that killed this guy in the water.
And now we switch
to New York?
to a different part of fucking map that we don't even know.
Right? We just go over to
we
New
don't
York.
have any reason to be here.
None.
Like I said, this part of the movie doesn't even need to exist.
No, because all this is like chick is standing there and a dude comes up like, hey, I need to talk to you.
Well, and again, you can barely tell that she's at work.
Yeah.
You certainly can't tell he's her boss until later when
you might be able to glean that she's a paleontologist from the Tyrannosaurus skeleton. Other than that, you're like, oh, she works at a museum.
She could just work at a museum.
Yeah. Oh, she's the receptionist.
Curator.
She checks people in.
She could have been anything.
Ticket taker. Do you have to pay to go to the museum? It's been a long time.
But so again, though, our real point just being that this lady could have had any of your jobs.
Job at a museum.
Like, there's no way we could have known she was a paleontologist. And then the guy takes her back, broke up with her. We don't even get to see the breakup.
No, it just cuts to her like hyperventilating.
Right, and then Mariska Hargitay walking in. See, I've got her character name. Not that it matters because she's here for 30 seconds. Myra. Yeah, she's here for 30 seconds. She comes in, kind of mocks the girl for breathing wrong. Right.
Yeah, you're doing Lamaze breathing. You need to like deep breaths.
And then Kelly says, "Sorry, dude, just broke up with me, having a hard time." And Myra says, "Yeah, oh,
I know. Kind of had inside information on that." It's like, you fucking bitch.
Kelly is then like, so wait, it's you?
Right.
And then she says, it was before you got here. And I was like, I don't know anything about this relationship because the movie didn't help me understand.
No, so were they dating and then Kelly shows up and he was cheating with her on...
No, because I think I think he has a family and he's cheating on someone else
just to make it even
with
worse.
These two.
Yeah, probably.
That's how I read it completely.
I just wrote in my notes. I was like, some friends, these people suck.
Yeah. And again, like, it doesn't need to be here. It's not fleshed out. We don't actually know any of the details about what's happening.
No, it's completely unnecessary.
As soon as she gets mocked by fucking Myra here, we never see Myra again.
No.
Because literally we leave here and the boss, the boss comes in / ex-boyfriend and he's like, I need to talk to you again. He says it again. And we're like, dude, didn't go so well the first time.
She's even just like, oh, hey, how you doing? Go fuck yourself. And he's like, this is business related.
Right. And it's just like, this is stupid. What are we doing right now?
They found a tooth up in Maine.
Yes.
I need you to go look at it. She's like, I don't
you
do
just
field work.
You just want to get rid of me.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's done.
You don't know.
They say this through the movie a couple of times, right? Like every time someone's like, why are you here? Basically, we get a like half joke of like, someone needed to get rid of you. Right? Yeah. Either she says it or someone says it to her. And it's like, no, but that is legit. That's not even a joke.
Until like the third time where she's like, no, legit. My friend and my boss, I was dating my boss. My friend started fucking him. And so they needed to get rid of me.
Can
so
we
they
please
could
stop
feel
saying
better.
that like it's a joke?
Right.
It's the truth and it hurts.
Because she was just sits there. She's just like, I'm not lying.
Yeah.
It's what happened? And I'm like, I mean, I believe you. That's some shit to make up.
Oh, definitely. Again, they couldn't have known this when he was just trying to get rid of her.
Right.
But his just trying to get rid of her damn near kills her. Like, I
get it. His idea is like, we'll send her off for a few days, let her calm down.
Right. And he had no idea where it was going. But he literally almost could have gotten arrested for like attempted murder here, right? Like if the
it's your fault
if she would have died and the police found out that he was having an affair with someone else and her and then sent her here and she died, he would be arrested.
Oh yeah, dude. It's like you had like you knew
way too much.
You did that on purpose.
Yeah, there's way too much circumstantial evidence there. Right?
Completely. And then we get to 30-second scene right after this to meet Bill Pullman.
Well, again, before we even get to Bill Pullman, let's point out that's it. We never see any of New York. We don't see New York.
None of the New York people again.
Well, we don't even see New York
None
again.
of it.
She goes here and she
goes
never
to Maine,
leaves.
Never
the movie
fucking
ends
leaves.
with her still here. This is how little we needed this scene.
This is why, like earlier when I said, I was like, we should have just dropped these two characters, more Oliver Platt.
We could have done anything more entertaining.
Right? This was stupid. Because it's like, oh, my boyfriend's cheating on me. We're going to get rid of him.
Well,
and then we cut to 30 seconds of Bill Pullman showing up to look at the body.
And this is just to set up for us, like I said, it's to set up a relationship, right? Like, that's why we see Bill Pullman the second this happens to her. It's so that way we can already know.
Isn't it even like cut in between?
It might have
somehow,
been. I don't
some
know.
Stupid shit.
But you get what I'm saying. Like they want to hammer it home in your head. Like there's a slight love story here.
These two are going to be our main characters.
But we don't need it.
No.
Nothing else in this movie requires it.
Hector should have been our main character.
I agree. I like Hector better.
Could you imagine? The movie starts in like Egypt, right? And he's doing this like mad fucking swim with like 30 crocodiles coming up behind him, right?
No, look, Hector would have, if Hector was the person who's the protagonist, right? Like screw Kelly, she's secondary, right?
she shows up later.
Then we just do this as literally Jurassic Park, right? Like he is literally the eccentric paleontologist, right?
Yes.
He's teaching the kids how to play with the fucking talon. He is that kind of guy.
Teaching them how important crocodiles were through
their
like
teeth.
history.
He's gonna pull out the teeth,
the
and
tooth,
like he's gonna do the same thing as the Velociraptor claw thing, but with an alligator, a crocodile. Crocodile tooth, right?
Yes.
Tell me you can't see it.
Grab you and slash you across the belly.
So yeah, I definitely agree. That's what they should, and probably they didn't because they were like, "This is just Jurassic, guys. We got to change it up."
I mean, who gives a shit? It would have been way more entertaining.
Well, because they were already making the dinosaur jokes about the croc, right? Like,
I would have leaned into it.
I mean, I'm not saying they shouldn't have. I'm just saying like that's probably why they didn't.
Cowards. I would have done it.
Yeah. So like you said, we see Bill Pullman.
It's literally 30 seconds. Jack Wells. He's
fishing wildlife. And they play him like he is like FBI agent. Like he's like
he has authority what's the dude over the sheriff's department.
Kiefer Sutherland, right? In 24. Jack Bauer. They totally treat him like he is Jack Bauer.
He has not final say on everything.
And I'm like, dude, you're the glorified guy who makes sure you got your fishing license,
right?
What are we doing right now?
Calm the fuck down.
Calm it down.
I'm pretty sure the sheriff has more jurisdiction.
No, he even says at some point.
Yeah, he does. He's like, no, the sheriff has no jurisdiction. I'm like, what the fuck?
He's like, the sheriff's got to defer to me on that. And I was like, I don't think that's true.
I'm pretty sure.
I think there are very few and far between cases. I think there are maybe cases where that's true.
Yeah,
but I don't.
Super well, because
he says it to him later on about the going back to the lake, right? Yeah. And I was like, regardless of what you want to think, there was a dead body there.
That's a police matter. You are no longer involved. I don't care if an animal did it. We have a dead human. That is sheriff.
There's an investigation going on.
Thanks for your time, Mr. Pullman. Now fuck off.
Right? I was like, I don't think you're right.
We'll call you if we find any sick bunnies.
But so that's the perfect segue into this, right? Like, so we leave Bill Pullman being introduced to seeing Kelly show up, right?
Yeah, like she's a bitch immediately because
you were right. So yeah, they did the back and forth, right?
Yeah, so she's on the plane and she's before she gets
before she gets on the plane, we even see her one last time with the boss, right? Where he's telling her she's going. She literally says, "I'm not going to Maine." Half second later, on the plane. Going to Maine, and you were like, okay, bitch.
I felt bad for the pilot. He's just trying to be nice, like, oh, it's gonna be a little bit longer and stuff. She's like, just don't talk to me. I'm like, don't be a dick to him. He's flying the plane.
Yep.
If he wanted to, he could make this a much worse trip.
She gets there, goes straight to the morgue.
Yeah, dude.
Meets up with the sheriff.
Tries to be hard.
Meets up with Hank at the morgue.
Yeah, tries to be hard. Like, no, I can totally look at the body.
Oh, no. Before we even get there, I loved it. She's talking to him in the hallway still. And, like, he just mentions that he came up screaming, right? Like, wasn't already dead. Came up screaming. And she's just like, oh, he was still kind of alive
for a few seconds.
Yeah, and she's just like, oh. So we now know she's a paleontologist because she likes the long dead. Yeah, right. Like she's
things that have been dead for a long time are fine.
Yeah, recently dead, not her
so much.
Not her bag, baby.
No, not her bag. Go listen to that last week's episode. 2 weeks ago. 3.
It was
Go listen to Austin Powers.
It was weeks ago.
There we go. Fantastic.
We'll leave it at that. Yeah, she's in the morgue. She's looking. They go to look at the body, like you said. He says, "Don't look at it."
He does. She's like, "Maybe I should." He's like, "You really don't want to do that." She's like, "Look, I can handle a dead man body."
Yeah, no, she couldn't.
And then pulls it off and immediately like starts to freak the fuck out. I love his face. He's just sitting there looking at her like, I tried to fucking tell you.
Well, and now it's like she gets to look at the tooth, right? So she's kind of this whole like while they're here, I was like, she has ADD so bad.
Yeah, she kind of bounces around.
She's like, yeah, no, they're like, here's the tooth, and she's like looking at it. She starts to say something about it, and then that's when she turned around to the body and was like, I think I can look at it. And then she flips it up and she freaks out about it. She never goes back to the conversation about the tooth. Then she starts talking to them about the lake and what it looks like.
Yeah, and it's like,
why
I
should go to the lake.
to see the lake. It's like, why?
I was like, what are we doing,
Can
bitch?
we get back to the tooth?
Can we
All I
answer-
got from you was it's reptilian.
Right?
She never even looked at it under the microscope.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. She says reptilian, not a fossil. Puts it under the microscope, flips out about the body, then says, let's go to the lake when the guy says 8 to 10 seconds before he got killed.
Back.
Never looks at it again.
Just realized that.
This bitch is ADD.
Yeah. She didn't have enough caffeine this morning to kind of focus her out.
Jet
right?
lag. Maybe. I'll give you jet lag.
New York to Maine.
Okay, maybe not jet lag. Maybe not.
I was like, that's like a 2-hour plane ride.
I'm trying to help her out because this is insane, dude. Like, she can't focus on anything.
Is so flabbergasted by having to go outside of New York because she has a thing
and
about
then we find
literally everything.
Well, then we find out it's not even just outside of New York. It's that she has to go outside because this bitch can't handle being outside.
She has a thing about everything.
They
Mosquitoes,
leave
worms,
like we said,
ticks.
they leave the morgue to go outside, and this bitch instantly looks at the sheriff and said, "Do you think we're gonna need backup?" He looks at her like, "Did this bitch just tell me backup? Do we need backup to go out to the lake?
Woods?
Don't get me wrong. Later on,
later on, I get it, but they don't know that yet.
We know that." She right.
Probably should have. Like, we should have rolled out.
But right now, this guy is just like, look, y'all don't even have a clear. You couldn't answer questions for me.
We're just going to drive down to the lake. Why the fuck would we need backup? Like, and personally, I think he's taking too much shit because they're like loading up the truck. He's got all kinds of shit.
And this
I'm like,
when she gets
going
to see the gun the
lake.
first time.
Right. The fucking yeet cannon he's
got.
I
got it. It's a lightweight forward area air device unit.
The fuck?
I don't know, but I even had the reason I went back to write that all out is because I was like, oh, is it at least an acronym?
An area denial weapon?
Well, I was like, is it an acronym?
An acronym stands for
not.
something. Nope.
Those letters don't make an acronym,
and that
for
doesn't
anything.
mean anything.
And so I was like, holy shit. So I can't even like say it simpler.
Can't just say grenade
All
launcher?
we can tell you guys is big gun. I don't even know if those are grenades. Like later on we see an explosion, but I think they're just like
a giant bullet.
I think they're just explosive rounds. I don't think it's supposed to be a grenade, right?
Yeah.
Like incendiary. They're incendiary
there
rounds. I don't think it's a grenade
Giant
per se.
dragon's
Well, because
breath
look at it.
fucking
It looked
around.
like all metal casing, right?
Yeah.
So like less like a grenade and more like a real bullet is what it looked like. It looked like Bullet Bill, but
Yeah.
real brass, right?
You took 3 elephant gun bullets and smashed them together into one big one.
Again, we're not gun people, so I don't know. We don't know. Maybe this is a real gun. Maybe we're mocking this like this is a movie going silly and this is real.
It's actually a flare gun or something like that.
Well, I'm just telling you right now, like if it's real for anything, I wouldn't have believed you. Like
no.
it totally looks like they made a prop for this movie,
Right.
Because they were like, we need something that's big and scary,
right. Shoots a big ass bullet.
And so he loads it up. Again, right now, this is supposed to be when they don't need backup.
Yeah, they don't know it's even a fucking crocodile yet.
No wonder she was. Well, actually, she says the backup line before he shows that gun off. Was that his way of answering?
I
We
think
don't
so.
need backup.
He's just like, we don't need it. I got
this.
my big ass cannon here.
I've got the BFG 2000 because the 9000 is plasma rounds. This thing's still a bullet.
Yeah, it's still
2000. It's a BFG
that's
2000.
Fair. That's fair. Previous iteration of the
2001, right? Like all the commercials used to say. It's the BFG 2001. When he pulls that gun out and he puts it up, though, before they leave, she has the nerve to be like, well, why are you bringing that? And I will say, I will agree, we just made fun of the fact that he did say we don't need backup, but had the gun. But I'm not questioning the fact that he has the gun. He just saw a man get eaten.
Yeah, he
straight in half
I saw a
in
dude
8
get
to
bitten
10
in
seconds.
half, right? It was super quick.
She saw the aftermath of that.
She shouldn't have questioned it.
No, there should have been no
Whatever
question.
the fuck bit that guy in half, yes, that is the gun.
I want
for
you to
it.
have that. I want you to have that
Have
with
that
you.
at all times. Safety off.
Can you buy 6 more before we leave?
Can I have one? You got another one.
I had such a problem with her wanting to have an issue with it because I was like, no, this bitch would have come from New York and been like, you need more of those. I don't want to touch them, but you need more of those.
You need more of those.
That thing's going to kill us.
They bit a man in half.
And then once they get out to the lake before they really start getting on the water, right? She starts going nuts with the goddamn Raid can or whatever it is.
Because there's a mosquito flew around her, and she just pulls it out and just starts.
I have such an issue with this because this movie came out after Jurassic Park, right? What's the one thing we all know about paleontologists after Jurassic Park came out? Mosquitoes are their goddamn bread and butter.
You need that so you can get the DNA to make the dinosaurs.
Every paleontologist loves mosquitoes.
Sorry. The dinosaurs.
Yeah. So every paleontologist loves a goddamn mosquito.
You gotta have them.
I know this. They're looking for it buried in amber. They
capture them and roll them in sap.
Right?
On purpose.
Yeah.
It's just a hobby.
So don't lie to me. This bitch is crazy. She's not a paleontologist and hates mosquitoes.
She annoys the shit out of me. Through the entire
She's a contradiction.
Fucking movie, she is like, I have a problem with this. I have a problem with that.
Well, and none of
I have a problem with tints.
Well,
direct quote.
All of the things she has problems with, well, not all of them, but most of them contradict the field in which she studies as well. Like, that's the biggest thing. It's like she is just a contradiction of all things.
She really is, because she hates all this shit and she hates being outside. But later she tells a story about, like, I used to spend the summers on the lake with my grandma, just like this one. I'm like, what the fuck is your problem then? So, that's later, though.
When did you fucking hate it all of a sudden? This is when we find out, again, this is when Bill Pullman shows back, Jack Wells, Jack whatever. Jack. This is when Jack shows back up, makes the statement about how he supersedes the sheriff's office because he's saying she can't go. Right?
Yeah.
She's like, they're like, she's coming with us, and he's like, no, she's not.
But the sheriff said I could. Well, I have more.
I supersede.
I have more say than he does. Like how?
And again, that's the moment. Like I said, I have an issue because this is still an act of like murder scene, right? Like, I don't care. We know it was an animal, but we don't know how the animal got there. So we don't know if a person brought it in. If a person did, even though that might be involuntary manslaughter, it's still a crime.
There's definitely an investigation going on.
They don't know if this is they don't know this is all natural happening. Yes, they know an animal is involved, but they don't know how much a person was involved with the animal getting there yet.
Right.
The writer's dad was a fish and wildlife officer.
He totally was. It's like, no, fuck that sheriff's department. They come into the lake.
My dad was king of the lake.
Right? Couldn't go on my dad's lake and tell him what to do.
Dickheads. Y'all don't know.
Fucking Sheriff Johnson come up there on his little fucking sheriff boat acting like he's hard.
But so, it doesn't matter. He does end up being wrong. She does come.
Yeah, she goes anyway. She will not be deterred.
She says,
she's determined.
Fuck you people. I'm going to go where I want to.
I got sent here against my goddamn will. I'm going with you. So fuck you people.
And stop fucking calling me ma'am.
I will sue you. And with today's laws, I can do it. That cracked me the fuck up. Now, fucking sheriff just pops in, just like, she's very rude and clever.
I understand. Yeah, I understand most of the thing in the movie. She's right. Like, they were totally talking down to her. They totally watched the chick's ass here in a minute. All of that is true, right? The very first time, though, I don't want to defend him. I hate the character of Jack. Has no place here.
Yeah.
But I will say, the very first time he calls her ma'am, nobody had told him her name yet. Now, I will say the second he knew her name,
should not have called her ma'am.
He should have quit with the mamming because that was condescending. Yeah. And it came across condescending. It's one of those ones where I was like, I don't even know if the writer meant for it to be, but it is. He definitely sounds condescending. The writer
forgot that she had introduced herself.
Or something.
Because it's seriously in like 5 minutes after that.
Yeah, and I was like, no, the first time I was like, all right, lady, you might be going overboard. The second time I was like, no, dude, you're being a dick.
Now.
Yeah, you're being rude. Like, you're trying to talk down.
Kelly, you need to chill.
Yeah. You didn't need the ma'am this time, for sure. So I understand both sides of this argument, but it depends on which moment in time we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right, who I think is right and who I think is wrong. Like I said, though, this is when we see them. They check out the chick as she walks by.
Yeah, because she comes up and she's just like, oh my God, is it true you found a dead body? And the sheriff immediately goes into like suave mode. He's like, why, yes, we did. And so don't worry about it.
Even though
I have everything under
exactly.
control.
Like, he didn't yell at her, you can't fucking go there. You don't talk to me about it. Don't look at it. That's exactly how he treated Kelly, who is there on assignment.
Right.
To work with the sheriff's office.
But this chick shows up and he's suddenly Mr.
As a tourist.
Casanova, right?
Well, and I don't even care about the Casanova. It's the fact that he felt like volunteering this information that he told her, fuck you, you don't need to know about that.
Right.
The person who did indeed need to know about it got told, fuck you.
Cute chick with big titties came up. She is privy to that information at all times.
Well, because even fucking sheriff didn't care, man.
No.
He was like,
right.
Well, all right.
Like, what?
I kind of like it.
She was cute. What do you want me to do?
Kind of like it.
Look at my potato face. I'll take it where I can get it, damn it.
Now we get to why they really were going out on the lake, right? Like, this first one was to go because there are only 2 people that live on the entire lake.
Yep, this old
Everything
couple.
else is tourists. It's just for like going out on the water for the day, come back. There's not even like rental houses on the edge of the lake.
The only people who live on this lake is this old couple.
And so they're just going out to ask them, hey, what do y'all know? Have you ever heard
fucking
anything
weird
out there?
Right?
And we get out there, Betty White.
Fucking Betty White.
Again, like we said, first couple of words out of her mouth, and you're like, "Oh, sweet old grandma."
Oh, yes, it's so great.
Love her to death.
Bless
her
ask her
heart.
where her husband is,
and she immediately starts fucking saying some crazy shit. Buried him out.
Oh,
in the
I
front.
killed him.
Killed him for sure.
Yeah, he's buried
annoyed
out
the
back.
shit out of me and buried him under this. And the guy's like, "Sure you did." And he's like,
"Go dig him up, Sherlock." She admits to basically murdering her husband, and they just kind of leave.
Well, again,
I guess that's not why they're there, but
they just think she's joking. They still don't think, they don't believe, and she is technically. We do find out none of that's the
technically,
truth.
She didn't kill him, but I mean, like, still, I would have been like, okay, I'm digging the fucking garden up. Like, you just admitted to killing us, right?
Yeah. Well, and I even said,
you're
like,
gonna go point it out to me where you buried him.
Well, just the fact that, again, any of this has happened, it should automatically be a red flag to them. The fact that she has a husband she never reported being dead,
which should do.
Because that was the whole thing. Like, that's what Hank had an issue with.
Yeah,
he was like the whole.
Well, how could you not report that?
His whole issue had nothing to do with the fact that he was even dead or how he died. It was really just like, you didn't think you should tell people he died,
right? Kind of, because he's like, yeah, we have no record of your husband being dead.
Yeah, and she makes the joke like, yeah, it seems to cause me lots of problems.
Yeah,
ha 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 ha, silly old lady like me.
Yep. Oh, just sweet old lady who killed her husband with a fucking frying pan. Ignore me.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm pretty sure they just leave because they know if she's being serious.
I guess.
As far as what she's said has no impact on why they are
what
technically
they're
there.
looking for.
He is there to stop an imminent threat.
Yeah.
And if she killed her husband with a skillet and buried him out back, it's hardly an imminent threat.
That's the state police.
Well, I mean, nobody else
right?
lives there even.
Yeah.
Right? Like, again, like, she's the only, like, she lives secluded from other people.
Right. Fuck her, leave her
Who's
alone.
she hurting? Nobody.
Just leave
it's
her.
okay. Then they hop in their boat to head back, right? And this is the funny part. They're all talking, right? And she asks something about the water, like why it's so black, right?
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's all black and peaceful and stuff. And they were gonna name it Lake Placid. But that was already taken.
What
the fuck? What is the name of the
lake?
What
name are they on? The name of the movie
is Lake Placid,
and they don't. Do they tell us? Did you see it anywhere? I didn't. I just assumed.
I have that. I was like, if the lake isn't called Placid, why is the movie?
Well, and like, again, I can't think of the name. If they told us a different lake name, I don't know it.
Maybe Appaloosa, because it's written on the side of the boat?
I guess, but isn't that just a county most likely? The county, because it's the county sheriff?
It's not like Cave Run Lake's named after the county.
Exactly, but they would have Round County would be on the side of the boat.
Yeah, that would be. No, they don't. So why is the movie called Lake Placid? Because she said the lake was placid?
And it's not that calm. We've got
really
calmer water on some lakes
They really
here,
is like, oh, the lake is so calm. And it's
she says it later on at night when she's
and it's
looking
all
at
fucking wavy.
I was like, dude, no, I've seen places where it looks like you're looking at a piece of glass on the water.
Yeah, sometimes
I'm like, they're so fucking dumb if they think that that's a fucking calm water.
You can go to Cave Run Lake like super early in the morning before people start putting their boats in and shit. It's like a sheet of glass.
Yeah, so she asked, but here's the real answer for those people that don't know. Black water has nothing to do with calmness of the water or whatever the fuck they're saying. It's deepness.
Yeah.
Deepness will make the water look black. Lake. Black water has nothing to do with whatever the fuck these people were saying.
How calm it
is.
I
mean, we here
and
have...
it's not even dark yet. It's like middle of the fucking day.
We literally here have a body of water that's called black water. And it's called that because it's so deep, it looks black. That's how I know these people are stupid.
Yep. It sounded good when the writer. It sounded good when the writer was writing.
Well, it sounded good when the name of the lake was Placid, but when we find out that it's not. It's even dumber that's why they wanted to. Why was this conversation here?
I don't know.
We could have not had this conversation. Well, I mean, we should not have had this conversation. Then Lake Placid still works as a name.
They needed to name drop the movie, but they fucked it up entirely.
They dropped the ball so hard on that, dude. If that's what they were thinking, because again, it's not called that. Like, if anything, this conversation sets up why the name of the movie should be anything
besides Lake Placid. The movie's name should be Giant Fucking Alligator or Crocodile.
We gotta get off of this.
But no, this is where she starts her bullshit, where she's like, "What? We're camping?"
Yeah, no, he's like we're camping, and she
what the hell did you think?
Hank even says that. He's like, "Well, I said we were camping. I thought like a hotel room.
Like a Ramada Inn."
And I was like, "That's not camping, bitch."
I love how he starts giving her shit and stuff. She's like, "You mean I gotta like camp on the ground and be all gross and stuff?" And he's like, I forgot to get feminine napkins."
Now that was also a little bit too far. I was like, "Damn, dude."
He knew what he was doing.
I know he knew what he was doing.
The smug ass smile on his face, like, "Yeah, bitch, get the fuck over it. You knew what camping meant."
And then he immediately goes, "What's that in the water?" Right? And they look and they see moose head.
What did they fucking think it was at first? It's like one.
No, she thought it was branches.
It's like branches and shit. It's like fuck.
Well, in all fairness, all you could see from the distance,
kind of the antlers.
So yeah, it would look like a tree branch.
He pulls it up and throws it in there, and she starts accusing him of throwing it at her. And slaps the shit out of it.
I was like, "Bitch, he threw that in the boat.
In the boat.
It was not at you. And again, you want that not in the water,
right?"
So say what you want. The man was doing his goddamn job.
Right. I just wrote it here. I was like, "Oh, she's a slapper."
Yeah.
She's like 3 times.
Now, this is where the other ma'am gets dropped. I'm on her side.
You know her name by this point.
You've dealt with her long enough. Call her by her name.
Call her
Don't be
name
fucking
by this
rude.
Yeah, that's true.
This is also the point where Jack makes the announcement to the sheriff, "You need to call all your deputies.
How many deputies do you have?" And
call them all.
Then we just cut over to like camp, where all the deputies are. Right?
Do we? That county is paying for overtime for every deputy.
Sure.
In the sheriff's department
to go camping, basically, right?
Right. You see what I mean? Like, I'm like, no, this is not happening.
Hey, man, if I was one of those deputies, I'm like,
I mean, I would, if I had that job, I wouldn't argue. But I'm just saying, there's no way somebody okayed that.
Right. The city commissioner or whatever the fuck.
Nobody was like, "Yeah, you can take the entire
deputy, the entire sheriff's department."
Nobody's here to answer any actual calls. They're all camping.
They're all just camping out at the lake.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Way to go, Hank.
Right? Because there's like 5 or 6 of them.
Oh, there's a bunch. Yeah, you see there's like walking in the background. Well, there's at least 3 that we see on camera regularly. The black guy, the dude who dies here in just a minute,
and
the
girl. Red shirt, as I called him,
and then the girl. Like those, there are 3 that and there's at least 2 more that are just like in random around. Scenes. So yeah, like we said, 5 bare minimum deputies here with the sheriff
for a small county. Yeah, that's about it.
Why is Fish and Wildlife not bringing extra agents in?
Is Bill Pullman the only fucking one?
Well, he's just the badass one. But why doesn't he have a team to work for him?
If he's the badass one, dude.
Oh, whatever, man. Tell me that's again. He's not, but tell me that's not the vibe they want.
That's what we're supposed to get.
They definitely are trying to sell you on that.
Bruce Campbell would have portrayed that way better. Just saying.
All right. Again, though, this is a point where I want to make several observations. One, they are 100% making this seem like we are in the middle of Eastern Kentucky or Appalachia, not Maine.
Not Maine.
I don't get New England vibes from anything. I don't from what it looks
Southern
like.
Accents.
I don't get New England vibes from the way she's talking about these people.
She acts like they're just like fucking bunch of hillbillies and shit.
It just really bothers me as someone who lives in an area with a lake that is also relatively close to the ocean.
Right.
That they felt the need to make it Maine. but make all these weird hillbilly jokes,
like they don't wash the deliverance shit. She asked the chick, she's like, so
is
like
deliverance real?
These other guys are gonna be like super horny like deliverance and shit.
And I was like,
Bill Pullman like hears her.
Well, and again, I'm like, that's like 7 states away from where you're at. Like you're not even getting
Georgia
close to this.
That movie.
Yeah, like you're so far off. Bothered me a little bit.
They got the North and the South confused somehow.
I don't really know what they were going for.
Because I think Maine, like lobster fishermen and shit.
Yes.
Bisque.
But this is like the first time where he makes the joke like, yo, you got punished, right? That's why you're here. You got no reason to be here. You don't like it
There's
here.
No
you hate
reason
this
for
place.
You to be here.
He just like goes into
he tears
it,
into her for it.
And you're just in your head, you're like, yes, dude, yes,
yeah,
all of that.
You're spot on, but
truthful.
She's not going to admit that right
but
now.
Well, and not in the way you're saying it. Like you don't understand. You're making it sound like she does her job bad, and that's the punishment.
If more of it's she just doesn't.
She was a victim of circumstance. Yeah. She got cheated on, and because her boss was the one.
And a dick about it.
He got to punish her by saying, "Go away from me."
Go away for a while.
So it hurtful that's the way the guy keeps coming at her.
Yeah, it's like calm the fuck down. But like in the middle of their little argument,
the helicopter
shows up. The most badass helicopter ever. It's got like the fucking the crocodile alligator print in the floaties.
I just want to point out right now, he has someone flying him in on the helicopter.
He does.
Right? Someone else is piloting the helicopter.
Where'd that guy go?
He disappears. He's not eaten. He's not one of the victims.
He just disappears.
But later on,
Oliver Platt's flying the helicopter. Where'd the other guy go? Why didn't
he fly himself in?
Fly himself in, right?
One less employee to pay for.
That guy had to just get out and walk. The road's that way.
Maybe he's the only one that was sensible enough to run when they saw the damage that this 30-foot croc was causing.
He's like, no, I smell what's about to happen. I'm out of here. Fuck this. You're going to fly it yourself.
So yeah, as the helicopter's flying in, though, our girl Kelly just looks up and she goes, it can't be. It's not. God. It is. She doesn't even give people time to acknowledge the words that are coming out of her mouth. It can't be. It is.
Fuck, it's him.
Hector Sear. What a name.
Hector Sear.
An
eccentric millionaire mythology professor.
Because if you're a millionaire, you're still teaching.
Oh, totally. Right?
No. Never. You would never give yourself work.
It's not like he became a millionaire after he became a professor.
Right? You might lecture. You might be the guy who just comes by and gives like a speech here and there. You're not teaching.
Fuck no. I'm on the
because that involves.
No, I am definitely on the lecture circuit because they have to pay you.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like you would lecture, but you're not trying to grade papers.
Fuck no, I'm not. If I'm a millionaire, I have a guy for that.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
Even if I did decide to teach, I have a guy grading papers.
Yeah, so he's a mythology professor. And she's like, why is he here? Oh, because she forgot for 30 seconds that his hobby is crocodiles.
Yeah,
right. Like
he swims with crocodiles.
He's a mythology person. But again, like my problem is just that she literally like not even like she just didn't think it was relevant. She completely forgot like that was a thing, right? Because like she says it, and then she even says out loud like, "But why would he be here?" And they're like, "Yeah, why?" Why would he be here?
He must think you have a crocodile.
Then she goes, yeah. Then she's like, oh yeah, that's right. He does have this thing about crocodile. Like it's his hobby.
It's his hobby.
And I was like, bitch, how did you forget that for 30 seconds?
He's worked with the museum a few times. He's weird. He's fucking weird. You know?
Well, and then he lands and it proceeds to tell us they've slept together. Do you think that's true?
I think it is. The way she fucking reacted. She's like, no.
I can't tell.
I love I love him though. He's just like, I'm so bad. They always forget.
Right? Well, and he is a ladies' man.
Yeah, he is.
He does surprisingly well.
He does. He charms the cute cop chick.
He even makes fun of fucking Hector, right? like for the first
I feel
20 minutes,
I feel like a friend would tell you you're fat.
For the first 20 minutes he sees Hector, he constantly calls him Hector and Hank are like at each other's throat, right? Like, but in a fun kind of way.
Oh yeah,
but they are definitely at each other's throat. Like
it
evolves into a friendship, right? But in the beginning, he is even saying things like "you are fat," and literally Oliver Platt and him are the same size.
Right.
These men are not. There's
it's
no
not like Oliver Platt's like in shape.
We're talking at best 10-pound difference between these two guys.
Five. Right? They're not even 5.
It's outrageous for him to be making fat jokes.
These two should have an eating contest, right? They're about the same fucking size.
But yeah, so from this point on, though, you will affectionately hear me refer to our pals Hector and Hank, because they are in almost every scene together from this point on in the movie. They have a great dynamic. As we said, Hector should have been the protagonist, and Hank would have been the fucking kick-ass sidekick.
Straight man, funny man, dude. It would have been fucking great.
Well, that's exactly what we get.
Yeah, it's totally what we get. It's so good.
All right, but yeah, so like we said, our eccentric millionaire, Mr. Hector Sear, shows up. Oliver Platt doing what Oliver Platt does best. He's done this,
being a charming asshole.
Yeah, he's done this character so many times in so many places
with different voices. Even like he can put just a random accent on it and be this exact character.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, I've wanted to hang out with every one of them.
I know, right?
Like again, like he is supposed to be an asshole, but he seems like a dude that I would love to hang out with. As long as you're not the focus of the assholishness,
right?
Everything else seems great. The parties,
he's not directing it directly at you.
I could handle it.
You want to be one of the deputies, right? One of the ancillary people out in the background just gets to benefit from his coolness.
Also, this moment though highlights, like we said, the weird sexistness of Bill Pullman's Jack, right? Because he fought Kelly coming.
Yeah, he did.
Multiple times. You don't need to
Why
be
are
here.
you fucking here?
Women, well, he didn't say it, but I mean, basically, he's like, women don't need to be out on the lake, right?
I got.
Then we get the rich man. You'd think a guy like this.
5 seconds. Yeah, maybe you shouldn't.
Well, and you'd think his opinion would be the same, right?
Yeah.
A guy like this, his opinion of this rich man would be the same.
Right, this rich asshole just shows up.
He doesn't know nothing about this. And he does. He says it one time.
For about 5 seconds.
But only once. Whereas in Kelly, he fought. He fought her. She was assigned to do this by her job. And he fought her.
Oliver Platt just shows up and in 5 seconds he starts barking orders like, I need maps, I need geological surveys and blah and all this shit.
He's a rich guy who's showing up on his free time. He's like, this is his hobby. This is what he does for fun.
He's a mythology professor. He's not even like a zoologist or anything. And again, like,
say what you want about her. She was assigned. It was her boss.
Her boss sent her here. He just showed up.
Your job is to go do this. She can't just leave. And he was saying, leave. This dude shows up who's here for no reason and 100% should be told to leave. And he's like, you got some fancy cool fucking toys. I like that. Right? You can come along.
Guy's got some nice stuff. Maybe we can use him, right?
And so then that's what we see. They go back out on the water.
In canoes.
2 people each, right? Like, so we see
fucking Oliver Platt's not fucking helping paddle at all. He's just got like the sonar thing.
Well, he added weight to the boat and is not helping at all. But so it's Kelly and the sheriff, right?
Yeah, in one boat, and then Bill Pullman and
Oliver and Hector Sear. Hector and Hank. Again, we're at the part where we're going to be saying we're at the part of the movie where we're going to say that a lot because they have so many scenes together.
They buddy up here in a minute. This is where it starts because he immediately.
I don't know if buddy up is the right word yet.
Not buddy up, but like they start ripping each other immediately.
They partner up for sure, right? Yeah. Like I mean, they're like that disgruntled partner.
Again, Hector just like looks over at him on the other boat. So like, I feel like as like somebody who's not your friend and like a nobody to you, I feel like I could say this, but like you're fat.
Again, I said
he's just like, what the fuck?
Like I said earlier, he is literally 5 to 10 pounds, if that,
right?
Off of the same weight.
It's fat, blubbo.
Well, and then while they're on the water, right? This is when we start to get like he's making the crocodile, and he's trying to like further the crocodile.
Yeah.
And Hank's like, That's insane.
Weird
crocodiles. Crocodiles are only, they don't live in salt water, right? That's what it says. Quick Google search will tell you that that's the exact opposite of true. Yeah. Like crocodiles are more likely to be in salt water,
and the big ones are definitely going to be saltwater crocodiles.
And so I don't know if the point of this movie was to be educational, to highlight the bad part of the educational system for not telling us these things. Why it is we got to keep highlighting that our man Hank here has no knowledge of crocodiles.
He's just a small town sheriff, man. How the hell is he?
Yeah, but he keeps spouting it like it's fact. Like every time he says something, he doesn't say "I think." He says
Irwin
this is true.
Told him.
Yeah, but
he watched a lot of crocodile.
Irwin probably has that right, though.
I know. He was drunk while he was watching it. He got his shit mixed up.
But this is the part, though, he does mention that the water they're in is salty.
Yeah.
And so, like I was saying, if it's salty water, why are the trees here? Why are the trees under the water? Where is all this fauna coming from?
I don't know.
Or flora. Sorry, I said that wrong. Where's all this flora coming from?
I don't know. It definitely looks like the lake we have here. With like the stumps and shit in the water.
And so, I don't know.
If it's a saltwater lake, it probably shouldn't have that.
I don't think so. Even if it's lightly salty, I feel like the trees should be further from the coastline.
Right.
I'm not saying they shouldn't be there, but they shouldn't be like these trees are literally like
definitely only like certain kinds, right? Like the really hardy plants.
These things are literally like a foot and a half from the fucking shoreline, right? Like I mean, these things are right there. There is almost no shoreline because it's almost straight tree.
Right. This is definitely,
and maybe
I would think a freshwater lake.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't understand. Maybe a low salinity makes it easier for certain types of trees. Like I said, I'm not maybe the best person to know exactly how salty water needs to be for certain types of vegetation, but
it seems like it would be an impediment, right?
Yeah, it seemed weird to me how lush this lake is.
Especially just right up to the water, like fucking trees growing in the water, actually.
And now while they're out on the water, they're using the computer and they're like, there's nothing here. Right?
It'll show up.
Well, he's like, I don't see anything. And I love this is that moment where you can really tell this is a guy who's directed other horror movies.
Yeah.
Because it's like that moment where he says, oh, I don't know if they're here, but then you switch to the murderer's point of view for a second of watching them. Yeah, exactly. But so normally you'd be seeing him like look in from the window at the crowd saying something dumb like that.
Jason's and so this time POV shots.
And so this time we get the POV of the croc, like literally like underwater looking up at him as he's like, there's nothing here. And it's like, oh, he's here and he's listening to you as you listen to him.
Enjoy this boat flip. Boom.
Right?
Catapult style.
Oh, Kelly
went flying like 30 feet, dude.
She's gone. If it weren't for the fact that you know she's the main character and most likely walking out of this
dead,
you would instantly be like, this bitch is gone.
If it had been like any of the random deputies, like red shirt style, it's like, that guy's gonna die.
Goner for sure.
Fuck that dude, hitting that water had to hurt. Dude, she went flying.
Well, and let's just say this. God bless the fact that it was their boat and not the one with that computer. I love that computer, and that thing could not have. This is
an expensive.
This is 1999. That computer, there was nothing waterproof about it. Like, so this was the kind of thing
still like a $4,000 computer.
Yeah, well, it's the kind of thing that was definitely made to be on a boat, but it's still shocking because how easily it could get killed,
get fucked up
on that boat.
Oh, it's raining. Our equipment's ruined.
Oh, that fish just splashed a fucking. A little bit of water.
Little drop of water on my screen.
Just hit the right spot. It's done for.
It's got that permanent dot forever.
Yeah, it's definitely that era for sure. So it was kind of crazy. But they are able to save her. They do get her out of the water. It is tense for a moment.
Yeah, because all the other fish start like jumping out of the water and stuff, showing like something's fucking coming.
Yeah, well, everybody's. I mean, wouldn't you though? I mean, everybody's like, freaking out.
Get me the fuck out of here right goddamn now. I don't care if the boat will hold me.
Exactly. I would want to be
I'd have flipped their boat over trying to get the fuck into it.
Well, and then as soon as we get out of the water, right? Like we don't get to see the full like everything, but we know they panically get her out, and then we see her on land, and she even makes the statement that I think proves everything about why she doesn't even need, why her character's not important, why the whole thing with her and fucking Bill Pullman doesn't matter. At this point, this is beyond the depth of any museum employee.
Yep.
Why is she here? Right?
Like she's a paleontologist. Like, this is clearly not a dinosaur.
This is clearly something alive.
Yeah.
A paleontologist, we can all agree, should be dealing with dead
fossilized bones, right?
So this is nuts. And she
should have got on the water and be like, I'm done.
Well,
I'm
she
leaving.
even says that, but then says, I'm staying. And it was like, why'd you make the first statement? The first statement backs up getting the fuck out of there.
That's what I would have fucking done.
The first statement did not back up, hey, let's stay and hang tight.
Right? Let's just hang out for a little while. I want to see what happens.
But now we get to see camp, right? I love this. We're seeing camp. We're seeing a giant hole get dug by the
two deputies.
The two deputies.
Sheriff.
The sheriff is so mad.
What are you doing? Hey, he gave
paid us
$500.
I would have dug that hole. I shove it up your ass.
Fuck you, I'd have dug the hole too.
Look,
$500.
Look, I'm going to tell you right again. They are right now being paid overtime.
Yeah.
For
plus
being
500
here, plus 500 extra. Plus, there's no way that they would be considered on the clock the whole time they're there.
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
Even though they technically
are.
Technically, they all of that is work time. They would still be like,
they're not going to pay you for
They would
sleeping.
still say after a certain time of the night. Well, maybe one of them is still considered on the clock, right? But like not all of them. You get what I'm saying? Like there'd be a rotation or something. So yeah, some of that's personal time. Fuck you, buddy. I'm going to make some extra cash on personal time.
Do you see my uniform shirt on?
Thank you. That's my point. And it also applies to in 30 seconds because we're about to see the girl in there and she's having a great time.
Yeah, they're having the party.
And again, the sheriff gets mad about her being in there.
He is such a buzzkill.
He tries to tell her what to do.
Right?
He tells her she can't stay and hang out with our man's Hector.
I love that shit. He's just like, can she stay? We're hoping to mate.
Yeah, we're make coitus or some shit. Yeah, whatever it is. But so again though, and he says no.
No, and fuck you, man. I'm off the clock.
I like if she was actually on the clock, he could tell her that. That's fine. All of that time's not on the clock.
Can't be because it's like 9 o'clock at night. We're
in
camp
drinking.
And we're drinking.
Can't be on the clock.
No, definitely. Those two guys in the back. If he's gonna bitch at her, they're drinking on the job.
So like I said, he can't tell her she can't sleep with him.
It's because he wants to.
Something.
He's jealous.
But yeah, so it's very fun. It's very raucous. It's definitely just
Tom Jones, man.
Yes,
it's not unusual.
It's clearly just to show off the vast difference in philosophy of the sheriff and Hector, right? Hank and Hector. Hank and Hector have very different ways they feel about this. Because I would say neither one's right or wrong, right?
No.
Like, I get both points of view. They are here on a mission. They are here to try to do something specific. I get where Hank is coming from. We need to focus. That being said, they are doing life-risking work, and so sometimes you got to blow off steam. Thank you. So I understand where Hector's coming from. It's not like
Hector's completely irresponsible. He does have dudes laying traps.
Yes, exactly.
In case the crocodiles
and he even
attack
explains
them during
why,
the party.
right? He's like they come up on land.
Yeah, they come
to
up
hunt.
on land, man.
That's where they get their food. They don't usually eat from the water. They say this so much in this movie, but we see this thing.
He even tells them like if you see one dive underwater because they
we see this one grab a lot of things in water. Hank even laughs at Hector when he says it because he's like, "Dude, are you forgetting
the first guy got killed in the water?
This movie exists because somebody got eaten
underwater
in the water.
He was in a scuba suit and everything.
Yeah." But so I mean, I do give credit though. You're right to Hector. He tries. He is trying to do stuff the right way. But he is also causing a problem for a bunch of drunk people in the woods having holes around them.
Right.
And we
probably getting more than one of these officers written up.
Oh, for sure. But this is that moment though. Like I said, and you've already pointed out, we all laugh a little bit about Hector.
Yeah.
And whether or not maybe he slept with Kelly for sure. He's a ladies' man.
He is because he
is suave with this chick.
He just looks at her. He says something. He's like, and you have great tits, and she's just like, I know, right?
She's laughing like it's the greatest thing.
He says things that should get him slapped,
but
it doesn't. It just works,
and not even on a level of like his money makes it okay.
Yeah,
right?
no,
like it's totally just like he is suave enough. Yes,
I guess all it is. It's all in the delivery, guys.
Like I said, I would hang out with this guy. Fuck everybody. I don't care what they say.
Yeah. Fuck Bill Pullman. I'd hang out with Hector.
This is also the part where Kelly and Jack talk outside looking at the water.
She's all like, "Oh, I went and summered on the lake and blah." And it's like,
I love seeing such a smooth lake, so still, serene.
Why have you had such a problem with everything up to this point?
Well, and they're not on a serene lake.
No, it
like
is
we
clearly
said.
just fucking just
I
was
like, you can't see reflection 1 in this water.
ripples.
Right? I was like, that's not smooth.
That is not. That is.
I can show you a smooth.
Dude, there are scenes in fucking Jason movies where Camp Crystal Lake is crystal.
When you want to tell me that this is supposed to be a calm, overly calm lake.
It's the same director. Why didn't he just pull some shots?
That's what I want to see, though.
Pull
right?
some shots from Friday 3.
I want you to show me the moon in the lake to the point to where I didn't know you were looking at the lake until you zoomed up.
There you go.
You know, that's what I want to see.
Totally could have.
This lake is not that.
No, it's not. But she keeps going, it's so smooth.
Oh, no,
it's smooth and black.
She constantly talks about this lake like that, like it's that, but it's not.
They needed her. This is our forced, like, romantic interest they're trying to shove into this movie that didn't need to be there.
Well, again, and like we said, it doesn't need to be here. She starts in this moment just to, like, sell the fact that it's gonna happen, starts getting ballsy about everything. You know, like I'm gonna be here, and the extra conviction about it. And
I'm here for it. I want to see what's going on. And again, like,
all of this speech is only here for Jack to have a reason to care about her, because literally 5 minutes ago he didn't even look at her because he was
stuck up fucking New Yorker who hates bugs.
But nothing happened to change her as a character.
Nope. Just a sudden spike in determination.
But why?
We get a look back. He starts to walk away and starts to look back.
They almost kiss even, and it stops.
Yeah, it's fine.
Thank fucking God.
I will give the movie this. It doesn't end on the big kiss. They just get in a truck and leave.
Thank God.
They try to shoehorn in this, like, romantic story, but then they give up. Thankfully, it's like, maybe they date, maybe they don't. They're gonna go get a beer together.
Well, and this moment where they're looking at the fucking water and reflecting and talking about what's happening to her. This is when she talks about, like, what was actually happening to her. Like, when she was like, he starts to make the joke again about how she was, like, being punished, right? And she's like, no, but for real.
This is why I'm here.
This is the part where I was extra like, this is just home for the holidays with a crocodile. Because I was like,
it's the same.
It's a little bit different, but it's so close to the same kind of thing, right? Like, this is her and Fish, right? This is the girl and Fish. This is.
Yep. She's dating her boss. They broke up, and she had to fuck off. It's like they ripped off Home for the Holidays for the beginning of this fucking movie.
This is the part where we finally start to veer off a little bit and actually get into some more water fucking adventures.
Yeah, and then we're gonna go dive, right? This is the next morning.
Before we get there, I want to point out, she makes the fucking point about how she's gonna stay here unless there are ticks.
Because she has a problem with ticks.
There are fucking ticks, bitch.
Yeah,
You're in the woods. If there are trees,
they're everywhere.
There are ticks. If there are trees, there are ticks. Say this, everybody. If there are trees, there are ticks.
Fuck, if there is grass, there are ticks.
This bitch is a moron.
We all know. Well,
I get it. She's from New York City. I understand.
Fuck, there's ticks in New York City. Well, I'm convinced.
She's a paleontologist, dude. She understands nature. Things will survive.
Prehistoric ticks, like, they were huge. You have to know that they were there.
I just have a problem with this bitch saying that.
Just get some off.
With all honesty. Well, that's what she's been doing all movie. So hopefully, I guess so. So then finally, Jack was like, oh, well, all right, bitch, if you're going to do it, I guess you're going to do it. 7 a.m. call time.
Yep.
He says 7 a.m.
So they got up at like 5 to prep for all this shit?
Well, fuck that. They should be getting on the boat at 5.
Yeah.
They're wasting daylight here.
By 7, the crocodile is awake and hungry.
Probably already eaten once.
Yeah, like...
I was like, what are we talking about 7 a.m. call time?
Catch it before it fucking wakes up, right?
I was like, these guys are... Why are we camping out here? If you're going to just show up at 7... If you're going to be there...
Noonish.
And, well, if you're going to be there and not start till 7, why not just be at the Ramada
and then drive out to the fucking lake? That's a good point.
I agree with her. Yeah, what's the point?
We could have stayed at the fucking hotel. Boys just wanted to go camping.
If you're telling me you're getting on a boat at 5, then I understand camping.
Yep.
If you're telling me you're getting on the boat at 7,
I can drive the fuck out there.
I can be there by 7.
Yeah.
Don't you worry. Right?
These guys just wanted to go camping. It was an excuse.
And have it on the government dime.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'd do it. hey, my work's going to pay me to go camping. Fuck yeah. Hope none of us die on this trip.
And now we see the sheriff, right?
He goes
before we get to the actual daytime, we exactly. Yeah,
he gets up to go pee.
We leave those two and they're staring at the lake and talking all romantic-ishly. To seeing ishly. To seeing Hank come outside, Sheriff
Boxers.
Hank,
man's got to pee. It's like 3 in the morning.
Looking for something to do. He pees successfully.
Yeah.
And then he starts to hear rustling.
The steam coming off of this piss, dude?
Hey, that's real, dude. I've definitely been there. That's real.
It must be fucking cold up in Maine, even in the summer, dude.
I believe it is. But yeah, so he pees, and then he hears rustling.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to go see what this is.
Pulls the gun out of his underwear.
I don't even care about that, dude. Good on you for having a gun.
Dude, like, I don't give a fuck, still taking the gun.
My problem is with as much as this man has seen already.
Right.
The fuck would you walk into the woods for?
I'm going right by my tent.
Like I said, I thought this man was a goner again.
Yeah,
at no point did I think this guy would make it to the end.
Fuck, I keep calling it a gator. Yeah. The crocodile.
Well, it's because of this.
Yeah, is going to just smack and grab him, right? That's what you thought. Think. In a real horror movie, that's exactly what would have happened. You know what makes this not a horror movie? None of our main characters actually die.
Every main character makes it.
Every main character.
It's only, like you said, it's red shirts.
It's red shirts. If you don't have an actual, if you don't have more than 5 lines of dialogue, you're fucked.
Now though is like we said, as he hears the rustling, he flips the bushes open,
and it's fucking Hector
taking a shit.
Is that what he was doing?
Sure
I thought he was laying traps or some shit.
No, I think he was taking a shit,
and that was just his cover. Yeah, I'm laying traps. I'm out here. He's having a big fucking shit, big gun in his face. I love his line though. He's like, I'm out here laying traps. There would potentially save your life, which you should be interested in because it means you get to sleep with your sister more.
Well, again though,
the ribbing back and forth on these guys.
I'll give Hector, he's right, dude. Hank should calm the fuck down about this. Just gonna
shoot people.
He was way too on edge. Way too on edge.
Easily, I mean, it was just right in his face. He just drops that fucking branch and
because
there he is.
If Hank's gonna continue to do dumb shit like walk into the woods when he hears rustling, then he needs to have traps around him because he's too dumb to survive on his own.
Yeah, that's fair.
You want to get got?
I am keeping you alive, asshole. You're gonna just wander off.
I'm just saying, you want to get got. That's how you get gotten. You walk into the woods when you hear some rustling leaves.
Your little police issue 44 revolver. They ain't gonna save you.
Like I said, I love Friday the 13th movies, and if I hear rustling and some leaves out in the woods in the middle of the night, I'm not walking into it. So like I said, you want to get got. That's how you get gotten.
Yep.
The sheriff should be happy that Hector is here trying to set traps.
Oh, there was a noise in the basement. That's how you die.
Next morning, they wake up, and this is when Jack finally actually says the statement we've been referring to all along, where he's like, "Look, we like your fucking toys, and that's the only reason you're here. But
if you interfere, I will tell you to fucking leave." Right?
And I love it because again, he calls them toys.
Yeah, it's what they are.
Are they? They're tools, dude. I mean, this guy proves how useful they all are.
That's fair.
Toys to me would be if they're rich things that aren't actually helpful, but they seem helpful.
Seem useful.
Yeah, but these are actually helpful. That sonar is actually helpful.
That's true. And the helicopter is definitely fucking useful.
I wouldn't say these are toys. These are tools. They are things that up until this trip have been toys because they've never been useful.
Super useful, right?
But this trip is the trip that changes the definition for sure. This is when we hear that Hector worships crocodiles, right?
Because Kelly's trying to explain for him and shit.
Yeah, so it's not even just that
because he's a mythology professor and
they mentioned the Egyptian.
She does have a point. A lot of cultures did worship crocodiles.
They specifically mentioned the Egyptian one, right?
Yeah, the Egyptians and the Indians. Sobek.
Yeah, and so they bring up the point. There is precedence for this.
Yeah, even
but
the
he
sheriff
is literally a modern day guy.
Yeah.
No shit you. The way he starts talking about them from this point of the movie on, weird.
A little weird. The sheriff,
Dragon's eyes.
Hank is just he's like, so that's supposed to make it better. It's like, no, it's not supposed to make it better. It's just I'm trying to make you understand where the fuck guy's coming from.
Well, because again, this is that first time we hear that, right? She says he looked into those dragon's eyes.
Yeah, the dragon's eyes.
Right,
and it did, and he never gets. He swam with Nile crocodiles.
Yep,
and
that's where it came from. Yeah,
once and shit.
This is why I despise everything about that dragon eyes. I was like, I get what they're saying.
It makes it sound dramatic.
But even though I get how corny it is because Komodo dragon has dragon in it, but that thing has more dragon vibes than a crocodile.
Yeah.
Regardless how big it gets.
Yeah, I know it's still just a big ass croc.
Yeah. Thank you.
I watched Crocodile Hunter. The motherfuckers get huge. The one they show in the fucking movie isn't actually that fucking big. I've seen ones about that size in Australia, right? Like they have giant fucking ones down there in Australia.
This is the first time Hank falls into a trap, right?
No, that's later.
I've got it right here. Hank falls into it. Not the up one. This is when he falls into the pit.
Oh yeah,
he takes 2 steps.
He goes to walk and he falls into the pit. Yeah, I forgot about that. Not the one that pulls him up.
That's why I said this is the first time.
The first one, yeah. He goes to stomp off all pissed off and then just throop into the fucking hole and he's just like, God damn it.
And then we get out onto the water again.
Yeah, we're gonna go diving.
Yeah, and they bring with them the sound effect. The hatchlings. Yeah,
the little speaker thing. It's like a little chirping of like hatchlings.
Hatchlings. I'm going to tell you right now, this just sounded like cartoon squirrels. If you would have played that for me and asked me what animal it is, I never would have said crocodile. No part of me would have ever thought.
No, it's
crocodile.
Like a weird squeaking noise. Yeah, right, like angry chipmunk.
But apparently, this was baby crocodiles. They were like, this guy's gonna come protecting.
Yep, he's going to immediately be like, oh no, baby's in danger.
I don't know enough about male and female crocodiles to know if that's true, but generally speaking, in most species, the male is not going to come. So unless they already knew this was a female, I don't understand why they would think this was automatically a good idea.
Sure, I'll go with it.
But they do.
Yeah.
And it does pseudo work. I mean, it does something. It does. It brings him.
It brings it.
I don't know if it had the desired effect because he just seemed really mad because I think he thought you've trapped my babies.
Yeah, because it like drags the boat away.
While
Jack and Hank are underwater.
Jack and Hector. Jack and Hector go underwater to look for something. Evidence. Would you want to see it?
They took like a weird stick to like stun it or something.
So yeah, okay. I'll go ahead and go back since you didn't know what these are. These are called. I'm not even joking here. These are called boomsticks. These are the only things that are legally allowed for alligator and crocodile hunting. You're not allowed to use an actual gun. You have to use these things. The way they work is the impact when you push in will make the round go off.
So you literally have to like spear the fucking thing. You have
to actually make contact.
That's more badass way of doing it, I guess. It makes it fair.
Only legal way to hunt them too.
You got to actually fight the crocodile. It's the only way.
But my problem with this is the size of this croc.
That little fucking like 38 round they put in it ain't gonna fucking work.
Isn't gonna do anything. For goddamn sure.
It's just gonna piss it off.
This is also when right before getting it, the reason they get in the water is because Hector tells them. This is the moment when he's like, "Oh, they don't bother you in the water."
Yeah, they don't bother you in the water. They
don't eat. They don't eat it.
They have a hard time seeing. They have the weird like lens that goes over.
This is the other time where I was like, so is this an educational movie?
Right. Fucking Bill.
They have a nictating lenses. I've got it. Nictating lenses.
Yeah, Jack tells them to shut up, and they just are like, we can talk if we want to.
Yeah, this is that moment where Hank and Hector really
like kind of buddy up a little bit. Like, we can talk.
It officially stops being a rivalry and starts to be a friendship right here.
They team up against fucking Jack, and fuck you, we're gonna talk.
So those two get in the water though. Hector,
they go off and
Hector and Jack. And
Jack sees like the tail or something.
And he goes swimming after it. He leaves Hector dumb as fuck.
Yeah,
this is Buddy. Himself. They went in with buddy system ideas and
then
they
just abandoned it.
Immediately abandoned it. We see lots of dead carcasses down there.
Oh yeah, they find the like dead cow or whatever the fuck down there.
Exactly, and you're just like, holy shit, what are we looking at?
Wouldn't that float? The moose head floated.
Well, everything else floats and ends up out of the water. The thumbs, the heads.
This magically sinks to the bottom.
It's down there. It's gonna stay there.
Then the boat gets pulled.
Well,
right?
and like we said, right before the boat gets pulled is that whole eye of the dragon fucking conversation. But yeah, so then the boat gets pulled by the croc.
Kelly immediately gets just launched out of it when the boat gets pulled.
Because she can't stay in a boat.
No vehicle can she stay in. She's again, very good she didn't get in the helicopter. Thrown up into the blades.
When she first gets thrown out of the boat, the way the scene plays, because we know the croc has still got a hold of whatever this anchor line,
anchor
right?
Or whatever.
at first I was like, fuck, dude, Kelly's the safest one.
Yeah, she's fine.
And then immediately you're like, oh, never mind. Because you see the fucking thing turn around, and they're like, they're both like,
it let go.
The one deputy pulls up the anchor, and he's like, oh
shit.
But yeah, first
and then the boat won't fucking start.
But for a split second, I was like, well, she's the safest.
Yeah,
I was like, they don't care. He doesn't care about Kelly. She's good. And then I was like, oh, never mind. Yeah, they just wanted me to feel that.
It's a smart croc, right? It trapped him. Pulled the boat away so it could target her. But they get the boat started, and it's like a few. They're implying like she's racing to the crocodile to get to her and stuff, and they pull her out, and you think the croc's coming up, but it's Jack.
Well, as I was going to say,
right?
As you're watching the scene, you're like, holy shit, it's the first time anybody in the movie has been useful.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're saving her. Like they're actually doing something.
Oh God.
But then you see they weren't.
No.
Because it wasn't the croc.
It's just Jack.
Because remember, like as it was happening, the way the scene
it goes even into the point of the POV shot, right?
Well, and the guy even says like he makes some statement about the way the water looks, like it's
right
coming
underneath
up.
her.
Yeah, it's rising up or something.
Yeah, I see it.
Well, and she acts like she starts acting like the whole like way the pull in the water is different and stuff. Like everything about it makes you think that Gator or that croc is there.
Yep.
No.
Nope. Just Jack. He just pops up.
So just when you think people are useful, they're not.
No. And then they're just like, where's Hector? Oh, I don't fucking know. I left him.
Right? And you're just like, why would you do that?
Right? You just left the poor fucking guy. Aren't you supposed to swim together?
And then they say, well, then Hector pops up, right?
Yeah, he's like, oh, there's bubbles. Go over there. And then he pops up.
After he pops up and they're pulling him up, they're like, all right, well, we got to get out of here. Pull that fucking speaker up. Here's our red shirt.
Oh, poor fucking guy. That poor deputy who's been driving the boat the whole time. He goes to pull that fucking speaker up, and I ran it back. Could you actually see the crocodile grab his head? I couldn't either. So like, good on him. Like,
oh no,
you cannot see.
You can't tell when the transition happened.
Grabbed his fucking head off of him.
But it's quick.
Yeah, it is super fast. Just a splash of water.
There's a man with a head, and there's a man with no head.
Poor fucking guy. It's okay. We find his head later. He gets it back.
Was that his? I don't think it looks like this guy, because this guy has black hair and it's half receding, and the guy we see is like blonde with a full head of hair.
Okay, then there's whose head is that?
But yeah, we'll wait till we get there. But I don't think that's this guy's head.
I for real thought it was that guy's head.
Because we see this guy a lot, and this guy is an actor in like
he's the guy who was digging the hole.
He's got the mole here. Yes, and the fucking face we see. If it's supposed to be him, I don't know why it looks that way.
They just grabbed a random head.
We got to move forward. We'll get there soon. I don't think it's him though.
Yeah, I don't either. Now that you mention it.
But yeah, so they get on land and they call the other authorities. Who are these authorities?
The Florida Game and Wildlife?
Well, not even them yet. I'm not even talking about that. He's talking to someone about the death of his deputy.
Oh yeah, and he's like, did he fall in the outboard motor?
Who is that guy?
Like, state police?
You see what I mean, though? What
other
jurisdictional thing happened here where the sheriff isn't just making the report himself?
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know.
It was weird.
It's the director's cousin. He just wanted a cameo.
It was very weird.
So we just added it in.
Right? But yeah, so someone else shows up and he's explaining everything to him. And the guy had the nerve to say, you think it was the outboard? You think the motor? You think the motor did it? And the guy just goes, God damn it, dude.
No, it wasn't.
His head was 5 feet out of water when it happened. I don't think it was the fucking motor.
And on like the starboard port bow.
Yeah, well, yeah,
right?
not behind the boat.
Mid-boat.
Yeah.
There's no way.
It was just like, shut the fuck up.
Everybody's just so reluctant to think that something in the water killed somebody for some reason.
Yep. Now's the somber solace time for everybody. Like everybody kind of takes this one to heart.
Yeah, even
nobody fucking knows the deputy but the sheriff, but everybody is acting like he's their best friend.
Hector even goes up and just like, man, I'm sorry about that guy. I feel like when like people die, I wish I would have known him better. And shit.
So rude because
he's super shitty to him. He's like, oh, I'm sorry for your loss.
What Hector said did not It was not rude. It didn't sound rude. Didn't come across rude. It came across exactly the way it was. Like, he was like, I genuinely feel bad. I didn't know that person.
Totally fine thing to say.
Right?
Hank is just like,
it's not a statement about you. It's a statement about wishing you knew them. I was like, dude, Hank, you're a dickhead.
He is a little bit.
He wasn't trying.
I get it. You know the guy more, and he's probably been on your team for years.
But again, that's exactly what Hector was saying.
He's like, I wish I knew him like you did.
Yes.
I feel bad that I didn't get the years that you had because he seemed like such a great dude, even though we never get his fucking name.
But no, Hank's gotta be a dick, dude.
It really is. And then he goes into like the nightmare he has where
what is this story?
He's a headless and his parents won't let him in the house because he'll knock over.
But then they use his head for soccer, and he felt
those are the bully kids.
But then he felt like at least I get to be part of the game.
At least I get to be part of the game. And Hector is Hank is a dick again. He's just like, I don't think you and me should talk after that shit.
I agree with Hank the second time.
A little bit.
What the fuck was the story?
Because
I understand it was a nightmare. Keep that shit to yourself.
Right.
That didn't fit the moment.
Especially after dude got his head bitten off. I get the comparison.
That wasn't the vibe.
Not the time.
That wasn't the vibe. That wasn't the time.
And I do feel bad for you, and you're like just wanting to be accepted shit, but not
the time.
Not the place for it.
Go see some therapy.
Yeah, go talk to your therapist about that. Maybe not the fucking angry Welsh sheriff.
Yeah, definitely not. And then Hank walks off, mad. Now is the one you thought the first time.
Now is the other trap I thought about.
When he gets hung upside down.
Pulls him up, and then
he's hanging.
Kelly
and Jack walk
up, and they're just like, what the fuck?
Kelly then says, I want to make sure I get all this right, because this was so ridiculous. Hector says, oh, it's okay. It's just a counterweight. Just pull him down, right?
Yeah.
Meaning we can just pull him down and do what we need to do, get him out.
Yeah.
As soon as he does that and starts to pull him down, Kelly says, I'll go get a knife. So they can cut. We don't need it. Well, they don't need it. And then we don't see him use it. We see Kelly, of all people, untying him. Why did we have to have her say anything about a knife?
I don't know.
Couldn't we have gone in and like AD'd that out? We don't need that there.
Don't know.
Since we didn't use the knife.
Because they don't. They just pull it.
They pull him down and untie it like you would when someone says it's a counterweight.
Because that's after he says that it's a counterweight.
Yeah, he says it's a counterweight.
We need a knife.
He gets his body down and then she makes the knife comment. Again, I hate to be the guy that picks apart stupid things, but sometimes the stupid things bother me than the bigger ones. And I don't know why, but when I was watching this movie, every time that one bothered me so bad each time, because I'm like, why is she saying a knife? Why are we seeing her, of all people, not use the knife?
They cut the 2 seconds of fucking Jack looking at her like she's stupid.
We don't need that.
And being like, we can just untie
I could even buy that. Right? I could even buy that. That fits his character.
Just looks at her like she has a turd hanging out of her mouth.
Yeah,
like,
that fits his character.
We can just untie
the way he talks to her.
Yeah.
I would buy that.
But my favorite part is like when they first walk up, fucking Hector's just like, I would have untied him, but he has this look of malice on his face.
Well, that's the moment too. Like as they're untying him, literally, he is. Hector is saying, "You're not gonna
hurt me, are you?"
Right? Like, I mean, I wouldn't help them if you're gonna. I mean, you're not gonna do it.
You're gonna be fine.
As soon as he gets out, what does he do?
I fucking lied. Grabs a stick and starts chasing him.
I fucking love that, dude.
I don't blame you.
You promised not to hurt. You promised not to hurt him.
I lied.
Bear.
Oh, dude, the bear. Oh, I felt bad. Did you feel bad? I felt bad for the bear.
Not only do I feel bad, let me just... So, again, while this is all going on, Bear shows up out of nowhere.
Bear shows up out of nowhere.
Chases all of them.
Yeah.
All the way to shoreline, right?
Yeah, right by the water.
Well, they were...
They were right by the water, and then the bear
shows
up,
this is after the
and
chase.
they dive
Yeah, this is after
the
the chase. So the bear shows up. I felt so bad because the bear shows up, the croc fucking jumps out of the water. Croc's way bigger than the bear.
Way bigger.
I felt like the bear wasn't even trying to hurt them.
Right.
I feel like the bear was trying to say, get away from the water.
Get away from the water, you idiots.
The water is bad.
Because
the bear doesn't even... The bear comes from behind them, right?
Yeah.
The bear could have chased them to the water's edge but it didn't. It made sure to get between them and the water.
Aw. That makes me feel even worse.
I'm telling you, I seriously feel like this was a nature was trying to help them moment.
Oh, no.
And then the bear is gone.
Now I'm going to cry. The poor bear. Because the sad noise it makes when the fucking
bear
croc pulls it underwater. Like,
it was awful, man. But
hurts my soul.
This is when they finally get to identify the croc.
This is the first time they actually see it. They're just like, the sheriff is just like, all right, I believe you.
Well, and then Kelly starts fucking going, this pattern on this part of it means it's from here, and this one means it's an Asian croc.
Yeah, it's an Asian Pacific crocodile.
So they know it's come a long way. We still don't know anything specific. She makes the guess it's 100-something years old, right? She makes a guess. Right now, we still don't know.
I love the joke. It's like, how the fuck did it get here? And Oliver Platt's just like some pissy Asian
businessman
flushed it in Hong Kong.
I was like, that's such a great reference to American culture and flushing alligators and shit. I love that. But again, we still don't even know. It could be true.
Yeah, it could be true. Could have just washed up on it.
Yeah, so the theory being that's 100 years old, this is just, I'm sure this is probably science and math that we don't know, but it's probably just like a alligator/crocs grow so much per year, so if it gets so big, it has to be so old.
I can see it. I know turtles
that's what I was going to say.
Live that long.
I'm pretty sure it's probably the same kind of
probably.
Math, right?
Same
so she's just making an educated guess because they finally have a rough idea on how big it is. That being said, they all agree 30 feet. I don't know about you. If that was only 30 feet long, then the thickness of it really fucks with your perception of how long it is because it looks way longer.
Gator.
When you say 30 feet long, to me, I still think like that's manageable.
30 feet by 15 feet?
Yeah, exactly. Because when you actually see this thing, you're like, oh, nothing's manageable about that.
Hell no. Because, 30 feet's pretty long, but this thing's like 18 feet wide, too, right? Like, it has a huge head on this thing.
While this argument, though, is going on and they make the flush the toilet joke, again, Hank starts to bring up information he knows about crocs, right? Like the salt water and stuff again. Like, I just didn't think it worked. Like, I didn't think a croc could go that far, right? That's what he says. They conceal information like that from the normal people in books.
You motherfucker. Kid literally kicks the campfire to like go after him and shit.
Hank's asking for it.
He is.
I mean, Hector's asking for it. He really is. Point, though,
he's sitting there and stuff, and Hank's like, "I fuck this guy" and stuff. Well, Hector's like, "But the benefit of being a rich kid, my parents dropped me off at karate class all the time.
So I know karate.
I'm a brown belt, so let's go."
And he does.
He punches him right in the face,
fucks him up, and what does he say?
You're supposed to say go.
In karate, you say go.
You say go in karate. Yeah, go fuck yourself.
I love that he just starts yelling that. You say go in karate.
The makeup department did a good job. Like his nose is awful fucking purple.
Maybe it really happened.
I was gonna say you think he accidentally actually punched him in the face.
Maybe Oliver Platt was being that much of an asshole on set.
Yeah, because the next scene is them like watching the crocodile.
Well, now is the part where I said,
they're
this
friends.
Is real.
They are friends at this point.
This is what happens in real life. People get fed up with each other. Two guys will get fed up with each other to the point they duke it out. They make up. They go back to Hector's
tent? Palace?
It is a
Taj Mahooch.
Yeah, it is a glorious little tent. But it's literally proven by the fact that they're watching like TV right now. Watching stuff about crocs together, watching videos, and you're just like, they're friends.
Yeah,
man.
They are. They're totally friends now.
These guys really love each other in a platonic kind of way, but they love each other.
Yeah, they're bros.
Yeah. So again, this is just a little bit of that scene of the love story we don't need. Like you said, they're patching.
Yeah,
she's patching him up, and they're talking, and they get a little bit like staring into each other's eyes a little bit, and you're just like, fuck, I don't want this, right? And then, god damn it, we get the line from them themselves. We really should go to bed.
I mean, we should go to sleep in our separate.
We just need to be different. And I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
You're right. I don't want to see this either.
No,
fucking go to bed.
I am again so glad that we don't get like a makeout scene between these two.
Well, none of this needs to be here at all.
These two characters don't need to be. No. I like Bill Pullman, and this chick is pretty cute, but like they don't need to be in this movie.
Nope.
We needed more Oliver Platt and Brendan Gleeson.
Yep.
They should have been the main characters.
100%. Hell, give me more Betty White scenes.
Yeah, give me more Betty White and like those three. We could have cut these two out, saved a fucking shit ton of money.
Oh, definitely.
Put into like way better effects.
Her last name is Fonda, for the love of God. You know there's a check involved. Yeah,
there's a big check involved.
So again, it is what it is, though. Let's get back on track here. I agree, though. I agree.
I ain't saying shit about nepotism. I didn't say nothing.
But yeah, so thankfully they save us, like we were saying. They save us from having to see the scene too, because they didn't.
They awkward themselves out of it.
They didn't even want to deal with it.
Yeah.
What's that? I'm trying to. This is less of a I don't know where we're at, and more I'm trying to make sense of the note that I took. And this is what I wrote. Now they're trying to rationalize its thoughts about this location, like it's the croc. This is when they were like, "What does it even make sense why it would come here?" Yeah. Right? They were like, they start talking about it like it's not an animal, like it had a vendetta,
like it's a person.
Like, yeah, they were like,
it had a plan.
Like, why would the croc come here?
Vengeance. It wanted to destroy man. They made it
sound like it had a personal reason for coming to this lake.
Like they do Jaws and like the third one, like it's out for revenge.
You're like, no, it's an animal. It
wants to eat and fuck.
That's all it wants to do. It followed feeding patterns, right? Like that's how it got here. It started here.
It started eating a certain kind of fish,
and it followed them.
It started following it on its migration pattern. Ended up in Maine. Simple solution, right? But no, this one's evil.
Yeah,
it's an evil crocodile.
This is the part where I got to just flat out admit that if I were one of these deputies, I'd have been out.
Yeah, I'd have just left.
I'd have looked at the fucking sheriff and said,
"Fuck you.
Nope.
I quit."
This is also the part of the movie where I literally had wrote in my notes the first time. You know, like we watched these multiple times, so you know, like obviously not the first time. The first time, being so many years since I had seen it, I literally was like, God damn, that female deputy disappeared just for her to show up 30 seconds after I said it.
Right?
Because you're watching them walk through you see them walk through the woods, and it's only the male deputies.
And they find the big like footprint. And the head.
Yes,
right?
And so it's all male deputies. And so you're like, what the fuck's going on right now?
Yeah, what the fuck? Where'd she go?
The head, like we said, this head is 100% not the same
guy. It has red hair, doesn't it?
Yeah. Blonde or red.
Blondish red hair.
Definitely not black.
You think it's her husband, Betty White? You think
but that would be so decayed.
No, that was
that's
like
6
2 years ago.
6.
Yeah, 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not right. Whose fucking head is this?
I don't know.
It's going to keep me awake
But so, yeah, while that scene was going on, though, there's a brief interlude where you see female deputy, what you think is flying the helicopter at first.
Yeah,
until a piece of conversation later lets you know she wasn't.
No, she's just in the passenger seat.
I would understand if you were mistaken and thought she was flying this helicopter, because they set the scene up like all of a sudden she is just the personal pilot to Hector.
And they're going to go scope out the cove where he thinks the crocodile lives.
Yep. And so while all that's going on is when the head is found, snake comes out the mouth. Fucking Kelly whines. Why are heads always being thrown at me?
I'm so sick of people getting heads thrown at me.
2. She's had 2, and one of them was an animal, and it wasn't
like 2 days ago. Act like it happens every day.
Well, and it wasn't thrown at her either. It was literally like the guy was like, I gotta clean my lake up.
Right. He put it on the boat. He didn't throw it at you.
This head wasn't, and this one wasn't really thrown at her either. Like,
no, it just kind of came out of the bush.
She's
overreacting. She needs to calm her shit down. But then they see Betty White leading the cow.
Well, and it's funny because at first it's just Jack, right? Jack sees it and he only notices her and the cow, and he's like, "What the fuck?" You're like, "Dude, there's nothing that weird about that."
I'm just taking a cow to get a drink,
right? Like I was like, "What?"
There's a lake right there.
Yeah, calm down.
Why would you bucket water?
He hands the binoculars to Kelly, and Kelly's like, Oh, fuck. That's crazy.
Look 10 feet out into the water. There's the
then
croc.
You're just like, Jack is a moron. Why is he here?
Right. Useless.
100. I agree. 100% useless.
And that's the problem. Bill Pullman does a great job acting the parts that he's given in this movie.
But this part
is useless. Yes. He could not be
his
here.
Fault. Yeah, it's not his fault.
It's worse than like the Indiana Jones thing where it's like he didn't do anything and the whole thing would have like happened anyway. All of the shit in this movie probably would have happened without Bill Pullman.
Definitely. Oh, 100%. But so while they see her, she does feed this cow
straight to the fucking crocodile. Blindfolds the poor thing and everything.
I don't know about you, but at first, before I realized she was going to use it to blindfold, I was like, did she fucking like bash its head in because all you
it looked like bandages.
Well,
didn't
distance, and you see white and red.
Red, yeah.
You don't know that it's a checkered pattern.
Took a bat to it to get it to cooperate.
Like she gave it like she like fucking
concussed it.
Yes, to be like now it'll follow me.
Loopy cow will walk to water.
She lobotomized it with a fucking hammer.
Fucking ice picked it in the side of the head.
I'm telling you, I was so confused. The distance shot
nicely wrapped the wound before she fed it to the gator.
But yeah,
that makes her way more sick.
Yeah, it would. So it's not that bad. No, but she is feeding it.
It's like a pet.
That's exactly what I said. So she's keeping it as a pet. They go to talk to her, and that's basically what she said. She's like, me and my husband. It followed him home from fishing. We fed it some scraps. It never left,
and it grew really big.
It's a wild pet. That's even what she called it.
Wild
right?
pet.
It's a pet that still lives out in the wild. At this point, it's like than anybody else's.
No one else lives out here.
Well, it's her and that thing, right? Yeah. Like, that's it.
And we find out that, like, the gator ate her husband.
Yeah.
And shit. She's like...
But on accident.
It was an accident. The horse went to try, and he tried to stop it, and it grabbed it, and she's like, well, I mean...
But what's funny is she's still acting like they shouldn't
be upset?
Well, and they shouldn't want to kill it, or shouldn't want to punish her. And they all, like, literally the sheriff has to break it down. Like, these are crimes.
Yeah. You committed a crime. At worst, like...
Who knows exactly which crime it is?
Failure to report a crime.
This is my favorite line from her. She says a lot of stuff, and she says a lot of dirty stuff in this fucking movie. But this is my favorite one. He makes the accusation about
she purposefully fed her husband,
and it wasn't on purpose. And she just says, "I guess if I had a dick, this is when I'd be telling you to suck it."
Oh,
I was like, God damn it! Dude.
From fucking little ass Betty White. That is the best. I like later. The next one is better.
The cocksucker.
Where she's like, "You're cocksuckers." I knew it. I didn't want to say it, but you're all cocksuckers.
Yeah. So again, though, she's like, this is just my pet. It's a victim of circumstance.
And if I'd have reported this, you all would have came out here and killed it. Right? Which, guess what? They're about to go try to do.
Well, but they have every right to. Right?
I know it's killed like 4 people
and
at this point.
Like, it's one thing when they were feeding it scraps, or even if they were just feeding it their own livestock, right? Like it's got a taste for those animals.
But it ate your husband.
We put down dogs who accidentally attack people and taste blood for this reason.
Because man flesh is tasty.
You don't want something alive once it's had a taste of it.
Was that movie with the lions had Val Kilmer in it? Like same concept.
Yep. So you get my point. Like this lady's nuts for thinking that they shouldn't.
Yeah, they shouldn't do it. And so is fucking Hector. He's on board with it too.
Speaking of Hector, let's slide to them in the helicopter. Now's the point. Literally, the female deputy is like, "Don't get off this fucking boat," because he's trying to dive again. Right?
I have to see where it lives.
Then watch it on fucking Nova.
I loved that shit. PBS, is that even a channel still?
It's PBS. It's just it's a PBS show.
Oh, that's awesome.
I loved that reference.
Yeah,
that was so dope.
I laughed at that.
That I was like, "Shut up, go PBS!" Right, and shout out.
Yeah.
That's how they get their money for the drive that year, right? They were like, "Did you guys happen to catch this movie? This major motion picture, Drop Nova?"
Right. That we all went and saw, right? We all went and saw this in theaters. It wasn't just me.
My dad saw this for sure.
I was in an empty theater with my friend Lettingham when this movie came out. Like, it was me and him. That was it. And we left like, what the fuck? Where was everybody? This movie's great. Not enough love for Lake Placid, all I'm saying.
But yeah, so she makes the Nova line. Then she even says, like, I'll have sex with you. I will
fuck you. Let's just leave.
Stay
Get
here.
back in the chopper. We'll do it in the air.
He's like, bitch, I gotta go.
I have to. It's like a spiritual thing at this point.
And again, at this part, I still thought she had been flying, right?
I did too.
But soon we'll go ahead and
here
make the reference.
He runs into the thing,
he gets
and
in trouble.
Pops out of the water.
He tells her how easy it is to start it.
The chopper.
Meaning she has not done it herself.
Doing it. So what the fuck was she holding on to?
What was happening here at all?
She just playing?
I don't know. I don't think they thought about this during film.
Right, because I'm right?
Yeah, no,
she was holding on to a joystick.
When they were flying... In the big, it looks like she is. Again, you only see a little bit of her, but it looks more like she's flying. It looked all of it.
Wasn't just crazy. Thank you.
Nope. But But yeah, Hector is an absolute moron, though. I will say. Who goes out into this water by themselves?
Right.
Who at this point? You've seen it. You know how big it is.
It is huge.
You know it doesn't care about shit.
Face to face with it. It is like 3 inches in front of him.
In those dragon's eyes,
I saw more dignity, more truth. That's later, but it's funny. Like,
we can go ahead.
He is full of shit. He is scared to fucking death. He is just like, holy shit. And if it wasn't for this fucking like weird little like floaty thing that he pulled out and distracted it with, he'd have been fucked.
Yeah. During this moment, as he swims back, he yells to her,
"Yeah, start
how
it.
To start
and
it.
Just turn the thing."
And again, you're just like,
fuel injected.
So she's not been flying,
right?
It's been him. What? I don't know.
He barely gets in this
thing. Again, like you said, if it weren't for the raft,
right?
He'd have been gone.
And he starts to fly up, and the croc just jumps up and grabs the like pontoon thing. Fuck you! That would have just dragged it down.
And
in the water.
I don't care what anybody says. This is that part where I want you to understand. They keep saying 30-foot croc.
Like, it's way bigger.
It is the size of the helicopter. Well, it's the size of this helicopter. It matches the size of the helicopter
easily.
30 foot, maybe, but you're not giving depth. Density, you know what I'm saying? Like you're not giving the full picture by saying only 30 feet. This thing is massive.
Right. It is huge. Could easily just pull this thing down into the water, right? But they barely fucking make it off. And
they do though.
Pullman, Jack, when they get back to the thing and shit, and he's just like, "You're done. You're grounded." He's just like chucking shit out of the helicopter and stuff. And fucking Hector's just like, "That stuff's expensive. Don't do that."
Well, and then Hank starts threatening to arrest people again. Nobody listens to him.
No.
Betty White didn't listen to him. Hector doesn't. Nobody cares.
Right?
Hank
No one gives a shit.
He threatens to arrest people everybody
all the time. He's like,
and they're all just like, whatever.
Have at it. Go the fuck for it.
But then they start talking. It's Kelly talking to fucking Hector, right? And she's like, "Man, you got a death wish," and he's like, "I don't." No, and this is when he gives that speech. The
ancient cultures would like.
Well,
use
he's like
crocs as like judges.
Well, and this is when he gave the one that you were referencing earlier.
Oh,
like the
I saw
deepness,
more dignity,
and
truth in that dragon's eyes and shit. And she just looks at him and she's like, "Yeah, all right."
Well, and and he says the judged, and she's like, "That's what you want, Hector."
Maybe I should.
You want to be judged?
Maybe I would rather be judged by a fucking crocodile than a bunch of people who just
like,
want a meal
stop with
ticket.
the philosophical bullshit right now. This ain't the movie for it, right? Like I was like, what is this all about?
And he immediately drops it. He's just like, "Yeah, fuck it." And then he's just like, "But we can't let them kill that thing."
And I was like, what? Where did that come from?
So out of nowhere. I expected him to argue a little more when she's like, him to like defend his point of like, "No, philosophy." He's just like, fuck it.
Exactly. But then he says not kill it, and I expected her to argue with him, and she just goes with it. That whole conversation was a bunch of like one-sided fucktard shit. Yeah, dude. I was like,
we don't have enough money to film this, so we're gonna just cut to the chase.
Again, I will reiterate. They are right that it should be dead. Once it has a taste for blood, kill the thing.
But they don't want to, and they somehow managed to talk Jack and Hank into not killing it. Because Hector has a plan. What was it? The drug? He has a fuck ton of it, like fucking fentanyl or some shit. Mm-hmm. I have a fuck ton of it. We'll trap it. We'll trank it. I'll take it the fuck away. Well, right
now, the only thing here I want to point out, he's making the speech to everybody. He's saying, "This is what I can do. This is what we should do. This is what we need to do." Right. But as he starts talking about, he's like, because this thing's a miracle. It's like a miracle of fucking nature.
30 feet for Christ's sake.
Now, my only problem with that is we don't know how big it was when she started feeding it. Was it already 30 feet, or did it just become 30 feet because it's got a steady, consistent food source from this old lady?
She just keeps feeding it fucking horses.
Maybe it's not a miracle. It's just the fact that this lady was giving it a diet like that.
It's obese.
I felt like maybe we were jumping the gun on easy science. You know what I'm saying?
I'm laughing too hard. I I just had the mental image of like Cartman crocodile, like, nah, I'm not fat, I'm big bone.
But so yeah, he starts breaking down all the reasons it's so important.
Yeah.
And one of them was that, and I don't know if that's actually important, but then he's like, it's 150 years old. That's important. I'll give you.
It probably swam over here from
possibly
another
swam across
continent.
the ocean. That's important. I will give you.
And Kelly jumps in. It is kind of an ecological marvel thing.
I've got drugs and he's got a big gun.
That was my favorite part. He's like, and he's got a giant gun if anything goes wrong.
I just love that that's how the conversation went. Like he's, like you said, he's slowly trying to convince Kelly,
Right.
like all of this. And then he's like, look, and all I'm saying is I've got a lot of drugs and he's got a really big gun.
And you guys have trucks. It's not like it can move that fast over land. If it comes up on land, just gun it, right?
F that noise.
Fuck you. That thing is huge.
Yeah, dude, I'm not. Exactly. Like, he said that part about the trucks, and I was like, so wait, your master plan is that they're bait?
Fuck basically.
You, man. Fuck you.
But it's okay. We find out that they are not bait. In fact, they
are glorified bait. You say what you want.
They weren't intended bait.
Yes, they don't end up being bait, but they were bait. Bait by definition is just what is used that way. It doesn't have to be the thing that actually gets eaten.
Inadvertently become bait.
No, they inadvertently don't become bait, but they were bait.
Yeah. And they steal the big cow, right?
Yes,
I love this.
I love that they steal the cow, they fly it off. They start
she is so mad. Betty White is so pissed off. She's just like, I'm going to sue you.
You can't do that. You can't take my cow with eminent domain. That's what they use to take houses for fucking roadways. You can't take my cow for eminent domain. And a giant net. I will point this out. Their plan.
Where's the net? I didn't see the net.
It's on the ground.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, you can see it. Like, they're spreading it out for a minute.
I missed that part. I was like, they kept saying it. And I was like, don't see a net anywhere.
As they fly it the very first time, when they're flying it off, if you watch the coastline, the bunch of guys are like pulling this giant thing out. That's the net. They're pulling the net out.
Glossed right fucking over.
Yeah,
I was too focused on the cow.
Their master plan was...
I felt so bad.
Their master plan was, let's use a cow like a worm on a hook.
And just dangle it in the fucking water from the helicopter.
Well, and completely like a worm too, right? Because again, you want it to be alive. You want it to wriggle a little bit. It needed to kick.
Right?
Then all of a sudden, I love this. They're talking about what's going on with the cow, and all of a sudden they're like, I think it thinks it's flying.
Well, I mean, it was kicking its fucking little legs for everything, man, up in the air, like.
But then they think the cow's a bad idea, right? Because it stops.
It's like dark at this point,
and it just stops all night.
It's just like sitting there. It's like a tea bag.
Not a happy cow. Not a happy cow.
It is not a happy cow.
Poor thing. Get it out of the water.
Yeah, we're done. Just
wait. Of course.
I got something sewn up on sonar.
Look, now, that kind of scene only works if you actually draw it out.
Yeah.
And then have a moment where you're like, nothing's happening.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
They don't do that. Yeah, if you don't give us a long, drawn-out scene and you just immediately go, pull it out. Wait!
Yeah.
It loses something, right?
No, but they immediately just he's like, as soon as they're on the radio, like, go ahead, shut it down. Hector's just like, wait, I have something on the sonar.
Yeah, like, he's still on the radio.
Cuts her off mid-sentence even.
And he's right. He's right. It's coming.
It's there. And then suddenly the cow is very lively. Don't fucking blame it. It is trying to run through this fucking water. It's trying to stay alive,
dude. I don't blame it.
Don't worry. The cow is fine. It makes it to the very end. They make a point to show you the cow later.
While it's being dangled right now, all of a sudden... The gator, the croc keeps popping its mouth up
out of the water and shit.
They get the dart.
Dude, they shoot it. They get it once, right in the neck, right?
Why is this not an automatic rifle?
I don't know. It should be like a fucking chain gun. Just
we should be dropping more than one dart into this thing.
Load this thing with fucking tranks, right?
I can't believe anybody hit it with one and said, "We're good."
Yeah, we're fine.
But that's what happens.
Everybody relax.
They hit it with one. It doesn't stop, and nobody says hit it with another one.
And it manages to wreck the fucking chopper,
Well, and nobody says shoot it again.
No.
If I hit it with one and it doesn't stop, I hit it again.
I'm not wrong, right? I saw at least two tranquilizer guns.
Yep.
The implication is that every one of those deputies in the trucks has one, so there should be at least 6.
And the sheriff has the mega gun.
The big
BFG 2001.
Cannon, right? No reason why there should only been the one.
Nope. Not at all.
But one dart, and it still manages to trash the fucking chopper, right?
Of course it does. Then all of a sudden, helicopter drops that cow. Snaps. The line gets snapped.
Cow's gone. It just magically snaps.
Yep, cow's gone. And the weight distribution being fucked up with the cow snapping the line. Fucks the helicopter gets all jacked up, crashes into the water.
Don't worry.
Fucking nuts.
Don't worry. Hector's fine. He pops that door out and is like, fine, where is it?
Ish. He's standing there.
He is stranded in the middle of the water.
Well, he's like, he even thinks he's good for a second, right? He's like, I'm all right. I'm all right. And then all of a sudden that croc pops his fucking mouth up. Everybody screams, including Hector.
Hank goes to his rescue. He jumps into the water with that fucking big gun. I'm not letting this guy go. He's my buddy. He's my boy, right? There's that weird little scene where it goes away for a second and then jumps up out of the water right at Hank. Yep. And there's just like, then we have the land fight where once again, Kelly can't stay in a fucking vehicle. All the truck did was drive forward.
My note just says, once again, Kelly thrown to the wolves.
It's not like it did like a 360 spin or flipped. It drove forward and this chick falls out the side. She is she is just opposed to being in a vehicle somehow.
But so then she still needs to try to get to safety. And so what does she get yelled at to her? Go under the water. Stop with this. When is Hector going to understand that this
not going to work?
This croc lives by different rules?
This proves it too. Because it immediately knows where she's at
cares and goes for her. It does not follow these rules.
For this fucking like tree that was in her way, she'd have been fucked.
When is Hector going to understand this thing doesn't follow the normal
whatever weird
rules?
book you read is wrong, right?
All the times he's been saying this to Hank, maybe he should listen once or twice himself.
Right? But she's up on the... She makes it.
She gets
she's on the chopper with Hector.
But she's on the wrong side. Exactly. Yeah, she's on like Hector's side. On the helicopter. How she couldn't tell the difference between land and helicopter when she's under the water.
The fucking opposite direction.
I would have went back to land for sure. Yeah. There's a lot more of it than the helicopter.
And the dudes with the guns are over there too.
Know. It was so ridiculous. But everyone acts like it's okay though, right?
Yeah,
you hear
totally
like
fine.
Literally
it calms down for a second.
Everybody on the bank like sigh of relief. She's okay. Fine. And I was like, no, she's not. That's stupid.
What the fuck?
They're still in danger.
And if it hadn't been for just circumstance, this croc dives directly through the middle of the helicopter by chance.
And they dive off of it. They get back to land. It gets stuck. And it's stuck.
It just happened to get stuck.
While it's stuck, everybody's debating what they should do. Should we kill it?
Kill it. No, don't kill it. It's
trapped already.
Mission accomplished.
Fuck Hector.
It wasn't a net, but we caught it.
At no point was Hector right. At no point do you do nothing else.
I'm with Hank. Kill that fucking thing.
I'm with Hank to kill it.
Blow its head off.
Even if you decide to... So, we need to actually say this.
Yeah.
So, Jack decides he's going to take the matters into his own hands because nobody will actually shoot it. Hank thinks he's going to, but then has a clarity moment or whatever you want to call it.
Shoots it with a trank instead, right?
Yeah, Jack shoots it with a trank instead. But my point here being, at least that makes sense. Hector's advice was nothing. We're trapped.
We're done.
Finished. Fuck that noise. I'll give you, while this is happening, they literally are like, oh, the first start's kicking in.
Yeah.
Fuck, it took 20 minutes for the first start to kick in.
Now we're going to shoot it with 5 more and make sure it stays the fuck asleep.
This thing's going to sleep for a week.
Exactly. It will wake up in the Pacific Ocean.
Right? Like, fuck this noise. But they do, like, as we've already said, it just gets put to sleep. Yep, everything's okay.
Everything's fine, right? We're done. No.
Baby croc. Or something.
Smaller croc.
Normal size?
Normal sized one comes
slightly larger than normal, maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know enough about crocs.
Crocodile number 2.
Yeah.
Comes out of the water and attacks Hector, grabs his foot. And then his tune changes immediately, doesn't it? Hey, shoot it. Shoot that fucking thing.
Burn it with fire.
Burn it. Kill it. Kill it for everything it's worth.
Someone bring out the holy fire.
And Hank finally gets to fucking use his gun.
God damn
and blows this thing the fuck away.
This explosion was insane.
It was great.
Dude. Like guts everywhere.
Not particularly necessary. We could have ended
whatever, dude.
This,
I love it.
But it was awesome. I'm glad they did it.
Now, my only problem with that was, again, at this point, we don't know anything about that croc. We never actually find out anything about that croc, right?
down to one.
So
right?
that's all we get from Hank. Down to one again.
Back down to one.
My only problem with this is that thing is still awake. It's definitely slowly going under, right? Yeah. The big one. If that's a baby, you've pissed it off.
Yeah, you have.
I mean, we don't know. My assumption actually is different. Let's finish this up, and then we'll get to what my assumption about this croc is, which is still wild that this movie is wanting to imply this. So once they're finished, they get to land. The croc is gone. The Florida shows up.
Game and Wildlife shows up and like, oh,
we trapped it with our We trapped it with our chopper.
We trapped it with our chopper.
What a line! We trapped it with our chopper.
Right.
Moo! As the cow runs back across behind them.
Yeah, because it's fine.
Yeah.
I love how they made a point to show you the cow was fine.
Then we hear Hector talking about it, and he's like, "Oh, they're gonna tank it."
Yeah,
they're gonna put it in a tank.
They're gonna put it in a tank.
Fuck the size of that tank. That tank has to be big,
massive,
and triple reinforced. And I don't know. That's a crazy claim.
Oh, him and Scotty got together. They just made the transparent aluminum tank.
I guess so.
Right.
It has to be something like that. They just briefly mentioned they were like the second one, and they mentioned how they talked to Dolores. This was off screen. They're like, yeah, she said she never mentioned it because she knew if we did, you guys would have killed that one, which they did.
Intuition, right?
Which they did.
They did. They blew it the fuck up. She wasn't wrong. And then nobody wants to ride in the ambulance with Hector.
Well, I mean,
and shit. There's all sitting there like, I mean, I got stuff.
I'm pretty sure I got
stuff to do, but Hank gets in there. Hank's like, fine, I'll go.
I want to point out there should still be a pilot to this helicopter somewhere.
There really should.
Was there a death that didn't make it on screen?
Maybe.
Again, though, the movie's it almost ends with
almost over.
It almost ends with more of the romance, right? Like again, we're seeing it, and you're like, "Fuck."
They
I don't
have
care
like
about
awkward
this.
bullshit talk. And she
says she's gonna go home, and he's just kind of like, "Okay,
if I'm ever in New York, haha."
And then she walks back up, and she's just like, "Do you guys know?"
Right? Does anybody in Maine ever make a fucking move? And he moves his sleeping bag, and she's like, "Really?
That's it?
That's it? Just get in the truck. We're gonna go get a beer."
I'm glad that's all we got.
I'm
glad
too.
It's over.
I didn't want to
see it.
I didn't want a big swell of music and a kiss.
Well, literally, he says the line, "I miss the croc already," and I was like, "Me fucking too, Jack.
Dude.
Me
like,
too.
goddamn, this
what
was
are you
completely
doing?
Unnecessary."
But so the last scene we see. Not quite. It's not an end credit scene. It's still before credits. But this is the kind of thing that could have been an end credit scene. Like if this would have been after the MCU, that's when it would have existed.
Yeah, totally.
We see Dolores and she's going out to her pond-ish thing. It's because it's not the lake, right? This is definitely like a different,
like a little alcove part.
And so she's throwing bread out
to her other little baby
crocs.
Little baby crocs. Oh, they're so cute.
So this is what I was about to get at to you. They were implying that one of these two crocs was a male and one was a female.
So is it like spiders? Is the bigger one the female?
I don't know, but either way, I don't see how this worked.
I don't either, but we're going to have more of these giant ass fucking crocodiles
of course
all over this lake.
In case you don't know.
And it's all Betty White's fault.
Well, and in case you don't know, we definitely are. This is a
there
franchise.
There are sequels.
This
There's like franchise. 6. There's a bunch of these fucking movies.
For those people who follow us who
Go
don't
watch
know
them.
That. Yeah,
they get increasingly more ridiculous.
As we mentioned earlier, there is one that is
Them versus Anaconda.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of those great franchises.
Right, where it just gets way more ridiculous the further it goes.
If you love that kind of horror
I love
movie,
shit like that.
Yeah, this is totally for you. But yeah, on that note, we are definitely done. What do you think about the beer, dude? This alpha, we said when we started this, and this was before we were recording started, right?
Yeah.
Like we had a sip before we actually were on mic, and we both were like, "This is like that bad kind of grapefruit."
Yeah. They just cut peels and threw it.
Yeah. And it was. I'm not even going to lie. That first taste or two, make it through that. If you're the kind of person like us who doesn't enjoy that, and we've learned this the hard way.
Yeah.
That just because the first sip or two tastes that way doesn't mean the whole beer will be that way. Right?
Persevere.
This is one
right?
This is one you definitely need to. Because it definitely it comes out better.
That and it's like 8.5.
It's strong.
So
watch yourself.
After the second one.
This gator's biting back.
Yeah, this gator bites back, buddy.
Be careful.
Man, good job, Abita. I like it. And I love the can.
Well,
it's got the alligator on the front of it.
I definitely enjoyed it.
Go out, try it. Alpha Gator Imperial IPA from Abita. Good stuff.
What are we going to be doing next week, though?
Next week, we're going to be doing Against the Grain, Haze Capacitor, Hazy India Pale Ale. Fuck, that's a mouthful.
All right, and now, guys, this is one between the name itself, which might already lean towards certain things for you guys.
I bet you've already guessed it.
Well, and you're going to see the picture, right? So between the name and the picture, when we post this, there's no way people aren't going to guess the franchise, right? So I guess this week it's more of a...
Which one?
Can you figure out, after 40-some episodes, almost 50, of hearing us talk,
right. Which movie
which one of the Back to the Future? Again, it's not a secret.
Yeah, it's not... I mean, if you picture...
Once you see the... Yeah, again, this is one of those things...
You're going to see that can.
If you're listening to the episode before we've posted next week's clue, then you might still be like, I don't know why they felt the need to tell me. When you see the picture, you'll know why we felt the need to tell you. That is
clearly a flux capacitor.
Yes. So again, at this point, this week's game is less which movie all around, but which one. Can you figure out between...
The three?
Between 40 episodes of us talking,
which
40-some.
Which one are we going to do?
Do you know us well enough?
Do we have to do things in chronological order?
Well, we proved that already. Dead Snow 2. We've never done Dead Snow.
Shh, don't ruin it.
But yeah, so you guys know the drill. That's our clue for next week. The game's a little bit better because now you just have you got 33% chance of getting this right. Normally you have like
do your Steiner
1
math.
in 100 million. Today you've got 1 in 3. Come on now.
You gotta do your Steiner math. You got a 33 and a third chance of
That's
beating
right.
me.
That's right. So yeah, this isn't that hard. You guys really got a pretty good shot.
Right.
Let's see what you get. Let's see how many. Let's see how many. Maybe we'll come back in the next episode with a tally of how many people got it right.
That'd be nice,
right? How many people actually nailed it right?
Shit. Yeah. Like all 10 of these people.
On that note, though, I think we're done.
All right. We got to pack the truck. We got to go to the lake, dude. The cow is fine.